how sweet to be an idiot.
Yep, Charlamagne the God.
Andrew Schultz.
We are the Brilliant Idiots, and today's episode is brought to you by NatureBox.com, dedicated to making smart, delicious snacking easy. Say goodbye to weird mystery ingredients and start snacking confidently with NatureBox. Visit naturebox.com/idiots to get 50% off your first box now. Head to naturebox.com/idiots right now and get the right snacks for 2016. Now, first of all, salute to everybody who came out to see the Brilliant Idiots live in San Francisco.
Yes, yeah, thank you guys. That show was crazy. That was the most beautiful venue I've ever performed in.
Amazing time. I was telling Schultz I thought that was our best live show. For that reason, the Palace, what is it called? The Palace of Fine Arts?
Palace of Fine Arts.
Beautiful venue, big space. There's about 700 people there.
Yeah.
But it still seemed intimate.
Yeah, the seating was just so dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminded me of one of those, like, you know the outdoor bowls? You know, when they have outdoor concerts and it's on like a lawn kind of. Yeah. So it's, people are close. Even the last row was pretty close because it's wide. It was great. I would love to do a stand-up show there.
I just really like the connection we have with Brilliant Idiots listeners. Yeah. It's really like we're all just sitting around kicking it in one big-ass barbershop.
People ask questions like that. They're not like generic questions.
No.
They're specific questions that they ask me as they want to know our take on whatever this topic is. And it was cool just to talk to them and then clown. We were snapping on people.
On each other. They interrupt us when we talking.
Yeah,
you know what
wild.
I mean? Like we're not up here trying to do a fucking show.
Yeah, it was
cool. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, motherfucker. Hey, it's the same shit, motherfucker. Like, you know what? You're right. So, salute to everybody who came to see us in San Francisco. London, you're up next.
Yeah, London's going to be fun, man. We'll be out there April 1st.
Next week.
Yeah. And then there's an after party at the Clapham Grand or whatever where we're performing.
I'm not going to no club called the Clapham. What? Well, I'm glad they don't have no fucking guns in London.
They think you go to that party.
If that was a place in America called Clapham, you would not see Charlamagne in that place.
That makes sense.
The fact that there's no guns in London is the only reason I would have ever stepped foot in.
Are there no guns in London?
I mean, I don't know if there's no guns in London, but the gun culture isn't like American gun culture at all. Police don't even carry guns in London.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's like I have no problem going into a venue called Clapham in London because that means applause.
Anyway, anybody who bought tickets to the show, you could come to that, I think, after party for free. I think that's what it is. They sent me some flyer today about it. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but make sure you check that out. Also, thank you for everybody who watched the Brilliant Idiots Live at Gotham on YouTube. We completely fucked up the release of that. I'm going to take responsibility for that.
How'd you fuck it up?
Basically, I thought you could just put a YouTube video online and it goes online. But if you're charging any amount for it, we're charging 99 cents for it. There's a monetization process that they got to go through and make sure all the content is original. It's a little bit more severe. So it took 3 days for it to get up. Then when it did get up, it wasn't available in any country.
Really?
We didn't make
I
it
thought as soon
available.
as you put shit on YouTube, it's available everywhere.
See, that's when you charge is different.
Really?
Yeah, and also, like, there's different stuff with, like, you know how they'll try to put an Uncommon Sense clip on YouTube and then cats in London will be like, yo, why can't I watch this? It's not available in your country. So the same shit goes for charging. So basically, we had to go back in. We had to add every country that there is on YouTube. So if it's not in your country ain't shit. Because we added every single fucking country that there is on the list. Greg,
if your country's not on there, your country has no Wi-Fi. So they're like,
man,
fuck
nothing.
it.
All right, they don't want to deal with your fucking loud internet. Anyway, so basically what happened is we got that together. We put it out. We released it. And, you know, thank you for everybody basically checking it out, buying it. I guess the idea that we're trying to do right here is just I want to create content, you know, that we have and like give it directly to the people. You know, I don't want to ask permission for everybody. I think that we have some pretty cool ideas. And this is really an experiment within just, hey, why don't we put a little money up and then try to shoot some things and then give it directly to the people. And if you guys support that, we're going to keep on doing it. And if not, you know, we'll find other ways how to do it. But you can go watch the video right now. It's the Live at Gotham video. It's absolutely, I mean, it's just insane. It was a lot of fun. Great show. And you can go to my Instagram, which is Andrew Schultz, SCHULZ, and there's a link there where you can buy it. Buy it on your computer. That's the other tricky thing. People are trying to buy on their phone. The YouTube app does not have the capability to process orders or whatever. So just do it from your computer, check it out. And if this is a success, we're going to keep on doing this with the live shows, man. I would love to give them the live shows.
Absolutely. And Cat Williams, the self-destruction.
I'm done with Cat.
The self-destruction of Cat Williams continues. Now, I'm not going to front.
Yeah.
Just from pure comedic standpoint, this was funny as fuck this morning.
Well, tell them what happened.
Well, if you don't know, a video surfaced online where Cat Williams for whatever reason, this is what motherfuckers need to ask themselves. Why was Cat Williams hanging out at a motherfucking grade
Middle
school?
school. Yeah.
Why was he randomly at recess?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is 42-year-old Cat Williams doing hanging out with a bunch of kids? He wasn't picking up none of his own kids. There was no security around. He had none of his boys with him. Why the fuck was Cat Williams at a school? That's the first question we should be asking ourselves, all right? Number two, now, y'all keep saying this guy's a 7th grader. I don't play with none of these little kids, okay?
Yeah, he was a big ass.
Now, and I don't give a fuck. These little kids got guns. They'll stab you. They'll try you. They trying to do all kind of shit for World Star. I'll punch a little kid in his motherfucking face, too.
Yeah.
So, now, Cat had no business being there.
Yeah.
Cat clearly was trespassing. All right? So the little kid probably was in Cat face saying, what the fuck are you doing here? All right? So Cat
Why you hanging out with these kids?
What the fuck? Why are you here, old man?
Aren't you a kid? Yeah.
Word up. So Cat swung on the dude. Now, I don't...
Stuck him.
I feel like the guy was invading Cat's personal space, but then again, why was Cat there?
Yeah, but you can't get up in his face. I think Cat even told him, he's like, little boy, get up out my face. The kid didn't get up out his face, and he learned a lesson. When you do that, you get stuck.
Yeah, but no.
And then you choke the motherfucker
Cat
out.
Williams learned a lesson because that motherfucking 7th grader put Cat Williams in the Crispin Wall cripple across face so fast.
Bang.
That was a reverse naked chokehold that he had Cat Williams in. And it was so funny because it's one of those situations where the guy starts a fight, and when he realizes he's getting his ass kicked, he tries to switch the conversation like, little boy. Really, little boy? Really? Yes, really, motherfucker. You just snuck me. How about that? And then Cat goes, we're the same size. What the fuck?
That was
You didn't hear when Cat is on the ground, it's the best.
Why? What does he end up saying?
Because Cat goes, first he goes, ain't no little boy, we the same size. And then another time he goes, what kind of community is this where y'all just let an old broke ass nigga swing on a celebrity? I'm like, man, what the fuck do your finances have to do with it? A broke motherfucker will beat your ass down and you deserve every bit of that ass whipping, bro.
Yeah, I don't care.
Listen, the moral of the story is we gonna be saying rest in peace, Cat Williams soon.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
This the truth to the matter. There's only two ways this story's gonna end. Cat Williams in jail for a very long time because he really severely hurt somebody. Or somebody severely, fatally hurting Cat Williams because motherfucking Cat Williams don't know how to keep his hands off people.
Yeah.
Somebody is going to give Cat Williams what he's asking for, bro.
That might be the only way to save his legacy.
Nah, it's too late.
Nah, if he gets taken out, or if he dies of like, an overdose or some shit, I think that it will secure.
He can't. Cat Williams at this point has to die violently. It can't be an overdose.
I think if he dies violently, that we're gonna go, he brought that on himself. Because he's been so violent and he's been so active.
But that's the only way he can go out.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Overdose would be some pussy shit for Cat.
If he overdoses or if he gets a random heart attack out of nowhere and we found out that he has some congenital illness that nobody knew about.
Terrible movie.
All of a sudden, terrible movie, but there's sympathy. And then we'd be like, remember it's pimping. Remember all this other shit? We'd be like, he's cool. If he goes out because he got in a fight and then got knocked out, maybe we'll be like, it's a tragedy.
That's not a biopic shit in.
Oh, you're thinking about the movie. I'm thinking about legacy.
Movie.
Fuck the movie. I'm thinking about legacy.
No, Cat Williams has to die violently. He can't go out no other way. Nobody want to see Cat overdose because he claims not to be on drugs. If he overdoses, it's expected. It's like, okay, we knew he was on drugs. He was wilding. Cat has to, whatever he's doing, Cat has to run up on Donald Trump or something. Like Cat got to do, like how he ran up on the dude in Philly. Cat got to go to a Trump rally and be like, fuck it. Run up on Trump, let Secret Service smoke him. Not only will he go out, he'll go out a hero.
Yeah, he will go out a hero.
Whoa.
I respect that.
He changed the whole narrative now.
Yeah.
Now we got to salute Cat and feel bad for clowning him.
Yeah.
He gave his life for the people.
Yeah. Stop inciting violence, Charlamagne.
Oh, stop trumping? You want me to stop trumping?
Okay,
I'll stop trumping. All right. I'll stop trumping.
That's all we do is we tell Trump that he's a piece of shit for doing shit that we tell people to do all the time.
Yeah, because he's in a position of power.
We in positions of power too.
But he should know better. We don't know better.
That's the bullshit.
Until he comes out and says he's a brilliant idiot.
We're not consistent.
Then I'm taking everything he takes serious.
Nobody wants to be consistent. That's what I learned from this whole fucking process. Everybody wants democracy if people already agree with you. The second people disagree with you, nobody wants democracy.
We're not hateful though.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if we're not hateful. All
Trump
I'm saying
is hateful.
Democracy is, the idea of democracy is this. If the majority of the people want it, they should have it. Now, if I believe in democracy and the majority of people want Trump, even though I don't want Trump at all, if I believe in democracy, I have to let them have that win. Right now, we're trying to do everything we can to stop them from having a democratic process. Even, I'll go so far as to say, even on the Democrat side, the Democrats, we think the Democrats are like these good guys. They're the heroes. They're in it for us. This super delegate nonsense is such bullshit and disenfranchises voters in the craziest way. If you take all the super delegates are basically people whose one vote counts as an entire thing. The super delegates
are the people who actually get you in the motherfucking White House.
So a super delegate might be like a former governor of a state that still lives in New Hampshire, and their one vote counts for thousands, right? Yeah. So, and this is only Democrats have these super delegates, right? So right now, if you take the super delegates from Hillary and the super delegates from Bernie, right, and you switch their super delegates, Bernie's in the lead.
Yeah. That's what I heard.
So this whole bullshit about super delegates is nonsense. You're disenfranchising people.
But then again, that's not the people though, right? Because if you say if he's in the lead with super delegates, then that's the senators and the governors and the other politicians.
Yeah.
But the people are saying Hillary.
The super delegates are on Hillary's side as well. But my point is right now, Hillary would still be in the lead without her super delegates, but it'd be very close. Yeah. But right now, this astronomical lead that Hillary has, if you just took her super delegates and gave them to Bernie, all of a sudden he's in the lead. The point is the establishment, we could say all we want about Republicans are crooked and they steal elections. Democrats doing the exact same shit right now. I mean, everybody's phony as fuck, man.
It's politicians. What the fuck?
Everybody's phony as fuck.
What do y'all think politicians are?
Man, that's why
politicians' jobs are to sell you a fucking dream.
You want to know what's interesting about this election? Is that we're done with the dream selling in a way. The most interesting candidates right now, right, are Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump. On the right side, it's Donald Trump, and on the left side is Bernie Sanders. And all that's telling me is that the people are done with traditional politicians, yo.
Yeah, but you know what?
They are fucking over that shit.
But this is the thing about Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders. And I like Bernie. But they're still both selling us dreams. They're just telling us exactly what we want to hear in the most non-political way possible.
Sure.
Nobody has ever had.
You just said it right there, non-political way possible. Yeah. We're done with politics. We're done with the traditional.
Still dream selling.
It's still dream selling. You're absolutely right. But they're done with politics. We look at Bernie. Exactly. We look at Bernie. We go, oh, he's not like one of these guys. And then Republicans look at Trump and they go, oh, he's not one of these guys because these guys have been lying to us for fucking years.
Not Republicans. What Trump has done. Trump has unearthed those poor white niggas who was never voting.
But they were Republicans, and they were voting.
I don't know if they're Republicans.
They're absolutely were Republicans.
They said that a lot of people have registered as new Republicans this year for the first time in a long time.
A lot of people have, but in comparison to what was already existing, it's minute, right? He's brought new voters in, but he is taking advantage of, like you said, the poor white N-words, right? These poor uneducated folks who work for minimum wage jobs. And a lot of them are unemployed and have been supporting establishment politicians for years, and nothing has happened, and they're fucking over it.
Listen,
they're fucking over it.
This is my thing too, though. If you because this is the first time that I've actually really paid attention to all sides of the candidates.
Trump and Bernie are Uber. Trump and Bernie are Uber, man. It's like you have a fucking cab driver, right?
Yeah.
And this cab driver for a year, his fucking cab stinks, right? He takes you the wrong fucking direction. He's putting you through the toll bridge instead of taking you through the free bridge. And you're fucking tired of it. And there's no other candidate. And all of a sudden Uber comes and it's like, what is a black car with fucking Starburst in this shit?
Until you get that motherfucking bill later that they email you and they done fucking charge you $300 for 3 blocks.
That's Bernie. Yeah, that's the tax.
That's fucked up.
That's Bernie.
Like,
that's
fuck?
Bernie. That's the tax that you're going to have to pay.
If you actually pay attention to the candidates, truthfully, and this is Republican and Democrat.
Yeah.
Donald Trump really does not know what the fuck he's talking about.
Yes, that is accurate.
Ted Cruz knows what he's talking about.
Marjua? No. Ted Cruz out of his mind.
No. Cruz is a devil too, but I'm just saying from a political standpoint, he knows what he's talking about.
Who would you rather have, Cruz or Trump?
Neither one.
Who would you rather have, Cruz
honestly, Cruz.
Cruz frightens
Cruz is
me.
the devil.
Cruz frightens me.
This is what I'm saying.
Oh my God.
Cruz at least knows how the system works.
Listen,
just from Cruz, no. If you ask Cruz about his foreign policy plan, he can tell you.
Okay.
Donald Trump will just be like,
"We're gonna blow him up."
He don't know. He don't really know shit.
I mean, at the end of the day, isn't that foreign policy?
I don't know what the fuck foreign policy.
Foreign policy, really, we could act like, oh, we're gonna do these and these insurgents here, and then it's blowing motherfuckers up.
Listen,
our foreign policy sucks. For the last fucking 20 years, it's sucked dick.
Listen, Hillary knows what she's talking about. Bernie knows what he's talking about.
Hillary knows what she's talking about. The rest of them, I don't think they know.
Listen, Donald Trump. This is the thing. Donald Trump has never been a politician. He's never held any office.
We act like being a politician is like a skill in and of itself.
Clearly it's not if Trump is leading.
It is.
Clearly if not if Trump is doing what he's doing right now.
You know what's real weird? Why the fuck do we hire politicians to make decisions about the economy? If you have a toothache, would you hire a politician to fix your tooth or a dentist to fix your tooth?
That's why they have like the cabinet. It's not like
all right, so then maybe
it's not like Senator Clinton is handing. That's why you got the treasurer and
all right, so maybe
financial advisor and all that
okay,
shit.
So then if that's the case, then we shouldn't be worried about and none of them having any experience because they're going to have their cabinet.
But the key thing about the presidency is it really is a symbol.
But don't you find that weird that we have that there's this person that's the president who has zero experience in the economy that is making decisions on the economy? Like, why the fuck are you there to do that? Why don't we have a position which is economist that we vote for we think the best no, that gets appointed by the president. Like you said, the secretary of the treasury and these secretaries and all the cabinet is appointed by the president. So I'm basically hiring you to be an HR person?
Hey, man.
Why the fuck am I hiring an HR director?
48 laws of power, baby. You know what I'm saying? Hire people to do the work and you take the goddamn credit for it.
Well, that's some bullshit. I want to hire the person to do the work. I want a dope-ass economist. I want Malcolm Gladwell to run the fucking economy. Do you know what I mean? I want that shit. I read his books. He knows what's going on.
Listen, I also want to address, I saw the clip going around with that when Neil Brennan was on, and the headline of the clip is, Charlemagne the God says he's never experienced racism. And I know y'all motherfuckers don't ever listen to shit. Y'all don't read. All y'all do is read the headline and jump out the window.
YouTube clip, yeah.
So I've had people in my mentions all week. It was actually a good debate.
Charlemagne the God doesn't think he's ever experienced racism. That was what you said, innit?
That's what I said. So I see people getting at me, in my comments, but then I see other people saying, well, I understand what he's saying.
Yeah, because they listen.
I've never experienced overt racism. I've never had a white person call me a nigga. I never had a white person tell me, hey, you're black, you can't be here. I never said racism doesn't exist. Never. That's asinine to say. Of course it exists. I've never experienced it firsthand.
You haven't interpreted these experiences you've had in your life as racism.
No.
You've chalked them up to other instances.
Like if I'm
you get pulled over by some shit. It smells like weed. Well, we were smoking weed.
I gave y'all an example when I was selling crack in Moscone, South Carolina. I used to drive a white Lumina Caravan. I used to always be in and out of this place called The Hole on Highway 6. Salute to my people on Highway 6. We're leaving The Hole one day. It's about 9 of us in this Lumina Caravan. We get pulled over. We didn't get pulled over because there was 9 black guys in the van. We got pulled over because we were leaving a drug spot. And they've seen this van in this drug spot all the time.
Yeah.
So, the guy asked me for my license, he asked me for my registration. Then he asked, could he search the car? I said, yeah. I knew we had a gun in the car, but I'm not going to tell him no.
Yeah.
So they pulled us out, searched the car, found the gun. They put us all in handcuffs. And they go, okay, whose gun is it? My boy, I don't even want to say his name. Well, I can say his name. Booby, my dude Booby, did what he was supposed to do and claimed his gun. Went to jail. They unhandcuffed and sent us out. So to me, that wasn't a case of profiling. That was just the police.
That was good police work.
It was great police work.
Great police work. That's fucked up when we start calling profiling great police work. Great police work profiling.
And so I said, in the podcast with Neil, it's like, yo, if racism has happened to me in a covert way, I was naive to it.
Yeah.
That's why it's called covert racism.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just never overtly have experienced racism. And 9 times out of 10, neither have you. I'm sure a white man has not walked up to you and said, hey, nigger.
Yeah.
The fuck you doing around here?
I can't say that because I'm not other people. I don't know their lives. But
no, you're right. You're right. I'm sure some people have experienced it, but I'm just telling you, I grew up in, and that's what somebody told me. Yeah. You grew up in South Carolina and never experienced it? No. I didn't. What you want me to do? Want you to lie? I'm
not gonna lie to you. A lot of my whole life, people have thought I'm Jewish. I'm sure I've experienced some sort of anti-Semitism without even realizing it. Because in my head, I'm not thinking.
You're not even Jewish.
Exactly.
So why would you think somebody's hating on you because you're Jewish?
Exactly, right? So I remember, even in college and shit, when people start saying some shit, I'll be like, we're chipping in for a bill. And I'll be like, yeah, I'll give you $10. I'm like, yeah, you would only give $10. Right? And me, I'm just sitting there like, what they trying to say about me? What do you mean? I'll give my fair share.
Like, last time I gave 20.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Yeah, you would remember exactly how much you gave last time. What the fuck is going on? So I'm so naive to the whole prejudice situation. And maybe that's where you come from. And dude, I bet that's where a lot of people have come from, right? Yeah. I'm trying to think. I wonder, what if you came from a place where black people were the majority, right? So they didn't experience the same type of profiling and racial prejudice that they experience here, right?
Yeah.
What if you came to America, similar as the coming to America type thing, and people were treating you fucked up and you didn't even know that they were treating you fucked up because you didn't even have that in your brain.
That's a great example because when Hakeem and Simi came here, they thought fuck you was a greeting.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh shit, that must be how you say hi, fuck you. Exactly. So a lot of times it's perception, right? If I'm walking through my everyday life going, the world is fucked up, the world is super racist, people hate me, and then a cab doesn't stop for me, I'm like, oh, he's not stopping me because I'm fucking black, right? Or I'm Puerto Rican, that's why he's not stopping me. But if I'm walking through life going, no, that's not true, that people aren't going to be super racist, and the cab doesn't stop for me, I might go, he must have left his light on by accident. Yeah. Like, I can take a really racist move and flip it to something else.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of his perception.
That's what the dude told me on Twitter. He was like, you got a powerful voice. By you saying that, it's going to make other people think it doesn't exist. I'm like, how? I spoke on my personal experiences, which could change one day.
Oh, absolutely.
I could walk outside today and a white dude be like, get that nigga out of here, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm just telling you, thus far, I have not experienced overt racism. I don't know what y'all want me to do. Y'all want me to lie? Yeah. Like I'm not the type of person that's gonna sit around and make things up. I feel like it's enough real racism out here. You could
race bait. You could easily.
It's enough real systematic oppression out here. I don't have to lie about what I've experienced when I can clearly see it happening to other people.
I think they might have interpreted it as you were denying the fact that it affects people.
Never said that.
Which I didn't interpret that way because I was actually listening. Yeah. But when people see a title,
that's it.
And just like we're talking about, it's perception. When they see the title, they get it in their head, oh, he's saying racism doesn't exist. And then they watch a video or read an article with the perception of this person thinks racism doesn't exist. Clear your head of that shit.
Yeah. And I even said in that video, if it has happened to me, I'm naive to it. That's what I said because I'm not thinking about it. And I told y'all 3 years ago, I said, maybe 4 years ago, I said that they're planting seeds of racism in a generation of kids who weren't even thinking about that shit to begin with. Yeah. And me as a grown man, I wasn't thinking about that shit.
Yeah.
But continuously telling people that. Yeah. I was planting seeds in myself. Like I remember being at Disney World, Universal Studios. We was getting on the Despicable Me ride. Yeah, they got this one part where they scan the whole crowd and they stop on one section. And they go, ew, it smells, you know what I'm saying? And I'm looking, I see me and my family on the screen, but it's not just us, it's a bunch of other people, white people around us, everybody. Yeah. So I look around like, is this some racist shit? Because it's in my head. You know what I mean? I'm like, my wife had to be like,
that's part of the ride.
A 1,000 families.
That's the gimmick.
You know what I mean? Like, stop it. I'm like, you know what? You're right. You're right. So, long story short, I don't know what the fuck y'all want me to do. I haven't experienced racism. Overtly, but I know it exists.
You know what's fucked up? There's some people probably listening right now that have been racist to you. Like, he didn't notice that?
He didn't know that?
I failed. I really wanted to give him some nice juicy racism.
Now, we got some guests coming in, but before let's talk about some real racism. This is the front of the New York Daily News. This today. We're recording this on Wednesday, so this is. And
we got to talk about Brussels too. I don't want to skip over that.
But
go on.
This is getting lost amongst the Cat Williams and Phife Dawg dying. Rest in peace to Phife Dawg. War on blacks.
What world do you live in? Where you think Phife Dawg dying and Cat Williams getting beat up by a 7th grader is bigger news than the front story of the Daily News?
I didn't say it was bigger, but if you go on Twitter, the number 2 trending topics are R.I.P. Phife Dawg and Cat Williams.
Yeah, but who gives a fuck?
Everybody.
The Daily News ain't put that shit up there.
The Daily News, if Phife had died, I guarantee you Phife would be on the front page tomorrow.
Of what?
The Daily News of the Post. Bet.
How much you want to bet?
New York legend.
How much you want to bet?
Bet.
How much you want to bet?
I'll bet you $20.
How much? $20. And is it the full story or is it what?
Probably half like this.
Okay.
Or maybe a picture. Phife will be on the front page.
Now we going to a quarter.
It'll be
we lowering percentages right now.
Tribe Called Quest. Phife will be on the front of this tomorrow.
Guaranteed he won't make front page. $20 bet. $20. We just shook right here. All right.
He'll be on one of these.
It's Wednesday right now.
We're recording tomorrow.
No. Nope. I don't think he makes front page. Will he make page 6 or something like that? Yeah, but I don't think he making front page.
Phife Dawg, man.
Nah.
White people love Phife Dawg.
I don't even know who that is.
You don't know who Tribe? You know Tribe Called Quest?
I know Tribe Called Quest.
It was Q-Tip.
I don't know shit about music.
It was Q-Tip, Phife Dawg, Ali Shad Muhammad.
Yeah.
But and Jerobi. I mean,
exactly.
Okay, Jerobi.
Exactly.
All right.
Now, if Jerobi died, what page he gonna be on?
God bless Jerobe. Right?
All right, go.
But war on blacks.
Yes.
Nixon administration invented anti-drug campaign to target minorities.
I thought that was Nancy Reagan. What happened?
Oh no!
Nancy
Gets her credit in this article.
She get that too?
Oh, she gets her credit.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Hold on, Nancy gets her credit in this article, but let me get to the exact page where it starts at. Hold on, what page was it?
And we need to bring in these fine ass Afro Latinas.
Oh, we got some Afro Latinos.
We got some Afro Latinas gonna come booty shaking up in here.
Now, John L. Relikman, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he served as President Richard Nixon's domestic policy chief.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And he said, "You want to know what this was really all about?" He said the Nixon campaign in 1968 and the Nixon White House after that had two enemies: the anti-war left and black people. We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did. That is crazy.
Okay, so again, not a race thing, just to clarify.
It's a race thing.
No, it's not.
He clearly said
Hippies, white.
But he said anti-war left and black people shows.
Yeah, anti-war left is white hippies.
And then black people.
Exactly. So it's not about race, which you had said before, which is about destroying the black
poor
community.
and black.
It's just it's
always been
and hippies are more or less poor. But my point is we can look at this like, oh, they were targeting just black people, they want to ruin black people, Or we can look at this and be like, okay, they were targeting people, which we can look at for what it was. They were targeting groups that were against them, which are these anti-war left, which has always historically been white college kids, right?
So why attack black people? All black people wanted was civil rights in that time.
And they damn well deserved some civil rights at that time. But my point is, I don't think it's fair for us to look at this as only a race issue and start looking at this as a government targeting groups that are against them.
That's scary. Not even against
them. That's scary. That's what governments are doing for fucking millions.
No, but that's
the
scary.
Beginning of time.
The fact that we could live under a system that promises freedom, justice, and equality for all.
Freedom is
systematically
overrated,
but
bro.
Systematically target certain groups.
Listen,
that's scary.
It's fucked up that this happened, but I'm gonna keep it very real. This freedom shit, overrated, dog. Overrated. Yeah, look at my emails, look at my phone calls, all this shit.
You know what everybody's putting on SoundCloud right now?
What's that?
You would say that, white privileged man.
I don't give a fuck.
you
that
would
shit.
say freedom is
I ain't
overrated.
I ain't got nothing in my fucking...
Why do you say freedom is overrated?
Because I want you to read all my emails. I want you to read everything so that we don't have to deal with these no fucking terrorist attacks, nothing. Read everything. Read everything we got, but lie to me and tell me you're not reading it. That's the perfect solution.
No.
Yes. Don't give me no fucking freedom, because here's the reality of the matter. And I know people say this all the fucking time. People say this all the fucking time. They don't deserve to be in my emails, this, that, the other. I don't care. Read the shit. Act like you're not reading it. That's all you need to do. Give us the illusion of freedom, but read the shit, because I don't want terrorist attacks. Good. Then they should continue. Great fucking job.
I think that
Great job.
Listen, there is no way in hell you're driving and you can turn on Waze or whatever your GPS is.
Yeah.
And that car knows exactly where the fuck you're at.
God bless.
At all times. If that car knows where the fuck you're at, you don't think it's a bigger system that knows where the fuck you're at all times?
Good.
Commit a crime right now and then drive through New York and go through these tolls and all of this shit like that.
My buddy did 10 years off of cell phone towers.
The camera phones taking constant pictures of the whole city.
Good.
I don't have no problem with that.
Good.
But I'm saying I definitely have a problem with this. Al Sharpton said this is a frightening confirmation of what many of us have been saying for years, that this was a real attempt by government to demonize and criminalize a race of people. And when we would raise the questions over that targeting, we were accused of all kinds of things, from harboring criminality to being un-American and trying to politicize a legitimate
you're
concern.
accused of this. And what do you think they're going to do, is agree? Oh, you got us. You got us. We were doing some really illegal shit. You caught us.
Schultz, you know as well as
silly.
You know as well as I do. There's nothing better than realizing you're not fucking crazy.
But how could you even think you're crazy? Like, if you know exactly what the government's doing, then you're right.
It's the same thing you're doing right now. If I'm constantly talking about this and people are either denying it or trying to make it seem like it's not that big of a deal, soon as we realize, like, no, this shit was really going on, it's like, wow, it's almost like a relief. So now what are we going to do moving forward to make sure shit like this does not happen ever again? Mm-hmm. That's what we need to be focused on.
Shit will happen. It's happening right now.
It is definitely happening right now. I'm glad that you admitted that.
Of course it happened, not only to black people, but to poor people in America.
It's happening to black people, brown people,
white people. white
poor
people.
and disenfranchised.
Absolutely.
Which is
Anybody
fucked
who
up.
is poor and
That
disenfranchised.
should scare you more than anything.
What is
because
that?
if you got these people in this white power structure and this system of things that don't give a fuck about their own.
First of all, you need to step back for a second.
Why?
When you say white power structure, you assume that white people give a fuck about white people. White power.
That's what I'm telling you.
White
Schultz,
powerful
that's exactly what I
Listen.
just said. You know what I hate about Schultz? Me and Schultz will be talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I just said.
You
That's why I said it should
do
scare
this
you.
exact same thing.
It should scare you.
You do this exact
because if
same
you have
thing.
people in this white power structure who don't give a fuck about their own, let your ass go broke.
How often do I have to tell you there is no their own for us? White people don't have it their own.
That's
Chris and
scary.
I don't look at each other and go, "Oh, got your back." Oh yeah, you got my back. You got yours.
That's because Chris is Jewish. You don't give a fuck about you.
Oh, so now, but you see how you contradict yourself? You see how you contradict
I'm
yourself?
not contradicting myself.
Yes, you are.
How?
Because you just said white people don't care about their own, but now he's Jewish, so now he has his own group of people. And what if I'm Italian? Now I got my own group of people. So that's what I'm
But
trying to
is that
explain
not
to
the
you.
truth, Chris?
Of course, it is the truth. But the elite people, right, in this country, be them white, be them Jews, whatever they are, care about eliteness, and that's fucking it.
And that's
Those
scary.
elite whites don't give a fuck about some poor fucking white dude
And
that lives in
that's
Kansas.
scary.
Sure, but
Because
that's
you
the
know
way
why,
it's been since
Schultz?
the beginning of time.
Because neither
Martin
one-
Luther King point that shit out.
That's what I'm saying. Because you're not elite. So if
Damn
you
right.
fuck
Damn
around and
right.
shit hits the bottom, you're going to be right out there with them Trump supporters
Damn right.
talking about make America
Well,
great again.
no, Trump supporters. Don't put me out there with that.
You
No,
gonna
I'll be out there with Bernie.
Make America great again.
I'm gonna be out there with Bernie. Yo, I heard an interesting statistic about Bernie, by the way. About
What is it?
You know the Gordon Gekko, the guy who the movie's based on, Gordon Gekko?
No, I know the shit that Theo was wearing on the Cosby Show.
I don't know what that is.
Gordon Gartrell.
But I have no clue what that is. So, but basically, the guy who Gordon Gekko is based on, the Wall Street dude, they asked him who he wants for who do you think the best president for the economy would be, and he goes Bernie Sanders without a doubt. And they go, well, really? Why would you, a Wall Street guy, think Bernie Sanders is going to be the best? And he goes, it's all about liquidity in the market, right? When poor people and middle class people have money, they spend between 90% and 110% of it. They don't fucking save shit. When rich people, the top 1% have money, they save 90% of that money. So he goes, for me as a businessman, I want money moving in the market. That's how you grow an economy, by spending. So give more money to the people who actually spend it than having all the money stay at the top. That's the best argument for the economy I heard.
Okay, it's two things whenever I hear that statistic, because I've heard that statistic before. The reason those people at the top get rich and accumulate wealth is because they are disciplined in their spending habits.
Exactly.
So it's like I can't get mad at them for not spending their money. The shit that bugs me out is when motherfuckers that don't have it blow it on the most trivial shit.
Sure.
I never understood that concept. Like,
Sure.
it's just as confusing to me as rich people don't pay for shit.
Yeah.
You know, we get free clothes.
Yeah.
You eat at restaurants free. If you're rich and you got a little celebrity, you don't pay for shit.
Yeah.
Which never makes no sense to me. Like, I can afford to live this lifestyle.
Yeah, but you know why they do it. I mean, clothing companies give you clothes because you wearing it makes a clothes look
I
cool.
know,
There's
but
equity
listen,
in you wearing it.
I'm with you.
You understand why they do
I
it,
get
yeah.
it, but it just still doesn't.
I
Really make any
it
sense
doesn't
to
make
me.
sense. But if they give their clothes to some homeless person, all of a sudden the clothes look homeless.
And so with the statistic you just said, you want to punish people because they're more disciplined in their spending habits?
No, not punish people. He's asking, in a vacuum, what is better for an economy? And spending is better for an economy than
Absolutely.
saving. So he's like, who would I want the money that we have in this country going to? The middle, because they'll spend it, not the 1%. So if you're just looking at what grows an economy, right? Purchasing grows an economy. Buy and sell. You need money moving. Even with Wall Street, right? You need what's called liquidity in Wall Street, right? You need people selling stocks, buying stocks, money moving around in order for you to make money. You make money off transition of money. You sell a house, you make a little bit of it. You buy a new one, that house raises an equity, you sell again. You need buy and sell.
See, I'm with you, but see, what bothers me about that scenario is, yeah, we want people to spend. Well, let's teach people how to save too. Let's teach people how to make their money grow. Like, we're not teaching the middle class that. It's like,
Stop trying to ruin the economy.
But it's fucked up. It's like we're giving these guys
Let
money.
these poor
we're giving
people
these guys
spend their money.
just to blow.
No.
All that's going to do is put us back in the same situation
No.
years from now.
Here's the
you
argument.
got to teach people how to fish.
Here's the argument. I understand what you're saying, teach people how to fish, but what they would say is, in order for poor people and middle class people to sustain life, they need to spend a higher percentage of the money they bring in.
That sounds like bullshit.
Charlamagne,
That sounds
food
like
costs the same amount of money for rich people and poor people, right?
I'm
But
with
rich
you.
people
But
have
that's
way more
food.
money.
That's a necessity.
So does housing. Like, for
Listen.
example, look. So just to understand what I'm saying, if the bare minimum to survive in America, let's say, is $20,000 a year, you need that for food, house, water, clothing. For let's say that's what
I
it
don't
is.
think necessities make the economy boom.
But let's just say
It's the
that's what
wants
it is.
that make the economy
Let's just say
boom.
that's what it is, right?
Okay.
Let's say what it is. $20,000 a year, right? If you make $40,000 a year, that's half of your income. If you make $400,000 a year, that's 0.5% of your income. So the argument is, if you have more people that are making $40,000, they'll be spending more of that money than if you have people making $0 a year and getting free money from the government, and this person making millions of dollars still spending only 20. So the argument essentially, it costs more for poor people, more percentage-wise of their money for poor people to live, just because there is a bare minimum for survival.
Yeah, but once again, I don't think that it's the necessities that make the economy boom. It's the wants. It's the things that we want. The needs, we're going to get the needs. You're going to get the food. You're going to get the water.
Yeah, but are you getting it from the government, or are you getting it from yourself? Are you spending the money? Are you going to the store?
Stores, yeah.
But if you don't have money to spend, then you can't spend it.
I don't know. I just think that we should teach, the poor and the middle class how to save some of their fucking money.
Yeah, you can
I don't agree with the whole philosophy of give them money, let them blow it, so the rich can stay rich.
Listen,
and the poor and the middle class just get by. They get to live.
It doesn't matter how great I am at money, right? If I'm a single mom with 4 kids and I have 3 jobs and I only make enough money to pay my rent and feed my kids, I can't save money. It doesn't matter how much knowledge I have. And I could have a fucking bachelor's and master's, a doctorate in economics from Chicago, University of Chicago, but I'm still not going to be able to do it.
Isn't that what we should be trying to provide? We should be trying to make it so this lady doesn't just have to get by.
Yeah. Well, then you want Bernie.
Like she can save a little bit and put something away for her kids, maybe.
Yeah, Charlamagne, that's ideal. But what I'm trying to say is, if her job makes her $50,000 a year and her lifestyle costs her $50,000 a year at the most, maybe it costs her $55,000 a year, her lifestyle. It doesn't matter how great she is at saving if the amount of money she has to spend to survive exceeds the amount of money she brings in. So just based off of that principle, there's more spending in that tax bracket than in the higher tax bracket.
Yeah, but
a person who makes $1 billion a year can't spend $1 billion a year. It's almost impossible to spend that without having some sort of asset.
But it's still, even in that whole scenario, it still seems like the poor and middle class will still just be getting by, and the rich will be out here getting richer, taking the poor people's money.
Well, you could argue if there's more people getting by, right? Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, those middle class people, right? Maybe one of those people is middle class but has a business. But now there's more people that can support that business because there's more middle class people, right? Mm-hmm. So now that one middle class person who had that business, now their business is thriving. All of a sudden they're breaking out of middle class. They're coming upper middle class because there are more people that can buy fucking tools, or more people who can go out to eat on a regular basis, etc. Once there's money moving, money's moving. Now, if people are literally on the poverty line where they have to spend all their income and then that's it, there isn't extra money for that person to increase his level.
How do we get the poor and middle class extra money?
Work.
Because they not only do necessities, but to get some wants.
Work. It's got to be work.
So now that mother that got 4 kids got to go work 2-3 jobs. So now the kids are getting neglected because daddy ain't around.
Or maybe daddy has a higher paying job or 2 jobs, and he can offer more money to mom for spousal support or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And therefore she doesn't have to work the 4 jobs, right? Maybe the daddy isn't unemployed because there isn't any work.
Or maybe you can just, break and enter in somebody's house. And that's how you get
Sometimes
money for
you got to
clothes.
get yours.
You know
what I mean?
You heard about that story in Miami, right? I couldn't believe that shit.
How's he supposed to get money?
That girl has been tweeting me all week.
Really?
Tweeting me. Her name is Notika, and Notika, she's tweeting me all week like I'm the asshole. Like I said something wrong. Like I don't get it. I done been out of the hood way too long.
Not only do you not understand racism, you don't understand poverty and having to get your shit.
Oh, you didn't hear the story, Chris? Okay, Chris hasn't heard the story. All right, in Miami, Florida, if you got an alarm system on your house, which I do, you can have it on your phone.
I like how you let all the robbers know.
Let me know right now. Okay.
I got an alarm system.
So when you have it on your phone, it tells you when your alarm goes off. Police are automatically contacted. They go en route to your crib. Now, this happens to this woman in Miami. Mm-hmm. So as she's notified that the police is going to the crib, she does what anybody would do. Let me go to the house and see why the alarm's on. Yeah. Now, when she got to the house, I'm sure she didn't expect for the kid that broke into her house, 17 years old, to still be there.
Yep.
So he was there. Florida is an open carry state.
Mm-hmm.
They had a confrontation. One shot went off. She popped him.
Got him.
Killed him. I don't see nothing wrong with the situation.
Me neither.
Sorry.
Are they both the same race?
I don't even know. I don't care. I don't care what race. I don't know. I don't know. I know the guy's black, but I don't care. I don't care what race she was. first of all, she's a woman. That's number one.
Yeah.
So if you're a woman and you go back to your crib,
and some dude is in there, pop him. Done.
you don't even expect it. I'm sure
Done.
she did not. I'm just using
Done.
logical common sense.
Done.
If I'm thinking from, cause I can think from both perspectives.
How you know you're not going to rape me?
Listen,
Done.
If I'm the burglar and the alarm goes off, I'm not sticking around.
Well, the alarm's silent a lot of times too.
Not mine. So I'm only using my experiences, what I know.
Yeah.
My alarm goes off. It lets you know. Intruder, whatever.
Yeah.
So if the guy's still there and you get there and it's a confrontation, she fired one shot, lets me know she was clearly scared, felt threatened, because she didn't hit him repeatedly, like, blah, 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 blah.
Bro, if you
One
see
shot.
anybody in your house that you don't know and they look like they're stealing shit from your house, you're going to be frightened. I'm going to be fucking frightened.
So
If I'm going at 3 o'clock in the morning to my living room or to my kitchen to get a fucking glass of water and someone pops out of nowhere that's my friend, I'm fucking frightened.
Absolutely.
I might shoot my friend.
Absolutely. So, the guy, his sister and I think his cousin get on TV, and the girl goes, I think her name's Natika. She goes, how else is a kid from the hood supposed to get money for clothes and stuff? Like, really? Like, that's how you justify
That's what you took away from the situation.
your family member breaking and entering a house. And she said that the woman didn't have to shoot him. You don't have the right to say that, because I tell y'all over and over, you cannot do things and tell people what the consequences of your actions should be. You don't have that right. That's not the way this world works, baby. Good or bad.
You can't break the law and then tell people how they should treat you.
No. Listen, good or bad.
Yeah.
If I do something nice for a person, I can't say,
You should have said thank you a million times.
Word up. I did something.
Yeah.
So the consequences of my actions, I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you what the consequences of my actions should be.
You have to act for your selfish reasons only.
That's it.
That's it.
So if you do dirt,
That's
like
it.
this guy was doing,
he
knew he was going to get dirt back.
What do we always say?
And there is no levels to dirt.
What do we always say about this shit? If you hit a man and you're a lady, listen, it's wrong to kill somebody. It's wrong to hit somebody back, but that shit might fucking happen.
Some men gonna react like Jay-Z, some men gonna react like Ray Rice.
Exactly.
That's just all it boils down to.
This chick react like Ray Rice.
And you can't be mad at this woman and for defending her shit. And I saw people on Twitter tweeting me talking about, oh, so we killing over property now?
Yep.
Yes.
What you think war is?
This ain't about, and it's not
what you think every war is.
But it's not about property. It's about self-defense and feeling threatened. I came home to my house. We had a confrontation. Why the fuck are you here?
In my house.
Same way Cat Williams. Why the fuck are you at this school?
Done.
Sorry.
Done. And it's not like this was her cousin throwing her a surprise party, then she shot him. That's tragic. This is someone she had a conflict with in the house while this person is stealing items from her. Okay? So not only do you walk in and then not throw your hands up and say, please don't shoot, I'm so sorry I was robbing you caught me. You have a fucking conflict with this person and we're gonna feel bad if she shoots you as a woman? Shut the fuck up.
Hearing your sister, hearing the young lady Natika say, how else is he supposed to get clothes? I wouldn't be surprised if this woman walked in her house and said, what the fuck are you doing here? And he said, why are you here interrupting me, yo?
Well, I'm stealing your shit.
You couldn't wait till I finish? I know the alarm going off. Let me get this shit and go. Yo, let me get this. I can't get this. Come on, you got 2 TVs. Let me get one.
Natika, why don't you lend him some money so he could get some clothes?
That's even better point. Go sell some pussy, Natika.
Yeah, Natika.
Go sell some motherfucking pussy.
Go sell your pussy.
Since it's all good.
Yeah, whatever.
Go sell some pussy, suck some dick to get some clothes for him.
Exactly.
How about that?
There it is. So that your brother don't have to be dead. Yeah.
Listen, people are retarded.
No, they need to hear this shit because what you're saying is you could break the law without any repercussions. So why don't you start breaking the law and looking out for your family?
That's not how life works, boo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely not. And I think we need to promote this story just as an example so other people understand the repercussions of breaking and entering and stealing something, because not everybody doesn't carry a gun. Especially in Florida. We know motherfuckers pack heat in Florida, right? So be prepared. If you're going to break into somebody's house, don't be surprised if they fucking shoot your ass.
And listen, the moral of the story is you cannot tell somebody what the consequences of your actions should be.
Mm-hmm.
Period. You just can't do that. That's not the way none of this shit works.
All right, let's pay
go
some
get the
bills.
Afro Latinos, please, somebody. Pay some bills.
All right, let's take a break. Talk to you. Let's take a break. Talk to you about one of our longtime sponsors of Brilliant Idiots, the company dedicated to making smart, delicious snacking easy. Nature Box tastes delicious without any high fructose corn syrup, trans fats, MSG, artificial colors, sweeteners, or flavors. None of that crap, okay? NatureBox makes finding a range of options from healthy to indulgent easy. They combine unique flavors with ingredients you can pronounce to create great snacks you may not want to share. Now, last week, NatureBox was kind enough to send us a few new packages of their good-ish, all right? What did we have last week, man?
We
I
had
remember we
the
had
cocoa cashew
waffles,
chips.
the cocoa cashew chips. What else they had? They had the pistachio power clusters.
That's
that
the vegan
French toast granola was
Yep.
bomb.
Yep. I also like when you go to the Nature Box websites to pick your snacks, they'll show which snacks are craves and which ones are smart. All right, that way you can still get some of those craves, but mix it up with some smart choices too. Say goodbye to weird mystery ingredients and start snacking confidently with Nature Box. Visit naturebox.com/idiots to get 50% off your first box now. Head to naturebox.com/idiots right now and get the right snacks for 2016. One last time. That's naturebox.com/idiots for 50% off your first box of delicious, high quality snacks sent directly to your doorstep. Let's get back to the show. Now we had, told y'all about this conversation that I had with the beautiful Dasha Polanco from Orange is the New Black. And she hit me to something that, for whatever reason, people thought I should know. The Afro-Latinos. I did not know that Dominicans refer to themselves as Afro-Latinos. So, I've just been having conversations with various Dominicans and Afro-Latinos in our culture. And I just like to share new information because, everybody doesn't know everything, contrary to y'all popular belief. I know this is the know-it-all era, but everybody doesn't know everything. So we have two beautiful Afro-Latinos here now. Introduce yourselves, ladies.
Hello, my name is Marjua Estevez.
Marjua Estevez.
I'm an editor at Vibe.
Okay, Vibe Viva.
Yes.
And what's your name?
My name is Venessa Marco. I am a writer.
I love your shirt. Audrey and Gloria and what is that?
They're all womenist scholars.
Okay.
Women as scholars, what does that mean?
Women in academia that speak primarily about being feminist and of color.
Okay, so are y'all two considered feminists?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I consider myself a womanist.
Yeah, I like to consider myself a
What's the
womanist.
difference?
Well, because feminism is historically attached to
Whiteness.
white women.
Really?
Yes.
But I thought it was just a gender thing. Like, why would it be a race
Yeah.
thing?
It's not a gender thing. You can be a feminist or a womanist.
Well, I'm a feminist.
Okay.
I don't know what a womanist is, so I can't say that.
I don't think I
but
qualify to be a
third
feminist.
wave. I'm not like a third wave modern feminist. I don't believe in that shit.
Okay, why?
It's just man hate.
Some feminists do confuse
Third
me in
wave
this era.
modern feminism is just man hate.
Like
Let's
the
keep
whole
it
thing
very
about
real.
women not wanting to be called females and all kind of like that
All
stuff
these
confuses me.
microaggressions.
I'm like, huh?
Shut up about that nonsense.
It's not about not wanting to. Wait, why would you? A female is a species.
I just thought it was a woman.
No, first of all, a female's not a species. A female's not a species. A female's a gender. A species
right.
is a type of animal. So let's get that.
Right, it can go across.
But there are people
Sure.
who believe that gender is assigned at birth. Like there are transgender people who
Question-
don't want to be assigned.
So I have a question about that. Do you think that gender is a social construct? Because one of the tenets
Absolutely.
of okay, so real quick, so third wave modern feminism. This is one of the reasons why I disagree. Is gender? They say is a social construct, right? Which means that we're told what to be in terms of our gender, right? Now,
Well, actually,
so
it's
here's my
natural.
question.
I'm born with a penis.
Here's my question. No. But in
doesn't
terms
make
of
you a
like,
man, though.
you're told to wear these certain things, like these certain things, and have a masculine or feminine way about your brain, right? Now, do you believe in trans people?
Do I believe that they exist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my question to you is this: if gender is a social construct where we're told to be a certain way, then how can a man be born with a woman's brain inside of them and be trans?
It's not about being born with a woman's brain inside of your body. It's about the feeling of not identifying with the specific gender that you were assigned.
But what about the
I
dick and balls
identify
hanging
as a
off your
woman.
body?
No, but
What
hold
about
on.
people who are born with both sexes?
But hold on, no.
Hermaphrodites.
I want to get to this point because this is one of the reasons why I don't believe gender is a social construct. Because I believe if you're trans, if you have what you believe is a female brain inside a male body, I believe that you're born that way. I don't think this is a choice that you're making. I don't think anybody taught you or raised you in a specific way to be that. I think that they've had that feeling since they're a kid. But you're telling me when it comes to male and female people, right, that there is no
I believe
specific gender
I just
disposition.
think that gender is fluid. I mean, we can talk rhetoric all we want,
So
but
trans
I think,
people are choosing to be that way, according to you.
Yeah, because biology shows
No,
us.
I'm saying that gender, I think that you can choose to, yeah, it's a choice. Like, I think
So
that
trans is a choice.
No, gender identity.
Gender identity
is a choice.
is a choice.
But actual
Gender
gender
identity
is
is a
a
choice.
cycle,
Hold
is a
up.
physical, biological, natural thing.
But they don't think that. They
That's
think
not true.
But
That's-
they
that's-
Who
see,
is they? Wait, who's
Yeah,
they?
who is
you said to
I'm
me
not
that
the
gender is a
authority.
social.
I'm not the voice of the
No,
entire
I'm just talking
community.
about you personally. You said gender is a social
You're
construct.
trans?
No, I
I'm about to say,
identify.
wow.
Oh my God.
You might make me change my mind about all of this shit for real. I'm like, you might
Are you
really
choosing to be Afro-Latino? What's going on right now?
Wow. I was like, wow.
I just find it contradicting. I think it's very convenient for when I hear the third wave modern feminists say.
I just think that people like to simplify something, and when you cannot, I think that
Oversimplify it.
When you
Absolutely.
can't.
Look, I just like holding people accountable. If you're going to say there's no, that's how I feel. I feel like it's complex. So if you're going to look at me and just say there's no such thing as gender, right? Gender is a social construct. I mean, we're told to be are the genders that we are, and then you're also going to say a trans person has a male brain inside a female body, or vice versa. I see a contradiction in your argument right there. There's a lack of consistency.
I don't believe that there is a male brain or a woman brain. I believe that there is a brain.
Mm-hmm.
And you could have you identify the way you identify. Like, do I believe it's a social construct? Absolutely. When you are born as a woman, you're told, oh, you should like the color pink. You should play with dolls. You should want to cook for a man. All these things are learned behavior. I had to unlearn that. I had to tell myself, oh, you know what? I'm not necessarily as maternal as my mother is, and that doesn't make me less of a woman. The same way that there are people in the world who don't want to be told what they are. They want to just be who they are. They want to exist. And we live in a patriarchal society where we are told,
Constantly
you look
being stripped of something, of your identity.
What do you mean?
Let's talk about this.
Going back.
Let's bring we'll bring the transgenders in to talk about this. We're here to talk about Afro-Latinos.
Going back to what Charlamagne said before, in our Twitter thread, you specifically said, when I see women like you and Dasha, I see beautiful Latina women, but if she wants to identify as Afro-Latina, then that's cool with me. That has nothing to do with you. It doesn't matter whether you're cool with it or not. Like, that's something that, she identifies with. And that's her not negating her blackness, where we're denied that our entire lives.
What do you mean you're denied it?
I'm going to speak for myself, not for Dasha. I come from a family that is of Dominican descent, but I've always been told, I've always been conditioned to think that black is wrong. And to not identify with that, to not bring home un negrito, a black boy home, because that's not good. Because you want to whiten your lineage, But I can't strip my African ancestry to make you feel comfortable.
Gotcha.
I can't do that.
See, I just honestly never knew of the African ancestry.
It's because we're multicultural. People confuse culture with race all the time. To be Afro-Latino means that you have not only Taino blood or indigenous blood, but you also have African blood and Spaniard blood in you. And there is this thing as being white Latino, but there is absolutely a thing as being like Afro-Latino, because the thing is their nationalities. I'm Puerto Rican and Cuban. That's like if I were to say to you, like, where are you from? Someone says, like, I'm from Chicago. You're not actually telling me anything. That means nothing to me in terms of your race.
Where does your blood come from?
From Africa.
That's what you're trying to say.
Exactly.
Where does your blood come from? So my blood is mixed with native people. It's mixed with white European settlers. And it's mixed with black people.
That's why the term confused me, because if she would have said I'm black and Latino, I would have been like, oh, okay, so you got one of your parents is black, the other parent is Latino. When she said Afro-Latino, I'm like, what is that?
Well,
you're oversimplifying the thing. It's a lot more than that. We love to pigeonhole people. We love to have to check boxes. When I have to fill something out, there are boxes that say, Latino, black, white, non-black Latino. You saying non-black Latino is indicative
knowing that there is African.
That there is African. Yeah,
but nobody ever says I'm native Latino. Like, why is there no, why, when you guys represent yourselves or identify as Afro-Latino, why is there no acknowledgement of the native culture that's within you?
But I thought that's what y'all always do.
And genocide was real, and slaughter was real, and rape was real. I also believe that.
But what does that have to do with you guys not acknowledging it?
Acknowledging what? What is your question?
Like, there's Afro, which is African, Latino, which is of Latin America. And the reason it's Latin America is because Portugal and Spain came over there. Before there was no Latin culture there. It was native indigenous culture. So why is there no representation of the native indigenous culture in this Afro-Latino name? Why is it not Afro-native Latino?
It could be if you want to be Afro-native Latino.
So you don't want to identify as that?
No, I totally identify with I identify with every part of my lineage. But what I'm saying is, the thing is, you got to also go with who's been oppressed. A lot of for example, people glorify certain aspects of myself that would qualify or make me more Latina. I'm very light skinned. I'm very fair. I have light eyes, but then I have very, very curly hair. So people always say, why don't you just say you're Latina? Why do you have to say Afro
That's what I said
Latina?
to
And I
Shorty.
say because that's anti-blackness. You don't want me to claim the parts of myself that you think make me less beautiful.
Now, I'm honest, you got a lot of Rachel Dolezal with you too.
That, a lot of people might say that.
Raquel Dolezal.
The difference with that is I'm not white.
Yeah.
She's a white person.
But you got part white in you.
She can't be Afro-Caucasian?
She's not though. That's the point.
All white people are from Africa. We're all from Africa.
If you go back far enough,
she could
she
be.
is
She could be
Yeah,
Afro-Caucasian.
she
Afro-Caucasian.
could. Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe.
She could, but
Absolutely.
I
No, she
can't,
is.
Don't marginalize her.
Yeah, let's
okay.
go. If you go back far enough.
Anyway, I mean, I think she's problematic for a lot. I don't know her personally. I'm just not a white person. If I'm in a group full of, I've never been
But you
treated
have
like
white
a white
people
person.
in you. You have-
Absolutely. But you go
Absolutely.
what
And
you
you-
look
those
like,
are
right?
white
Why are
And
you
how you're
denying that?
treated.
We're not denying that.
not denying
That's
that
been
at
pushed
all.
in my face my entire life. I have been told to negate all my blackness. My hair, I have a very intimate relationship with my hair. Right now, it's nicely tucked in so you can't see
Your hair
it.
It's late,
Great.
right? Now I'm not going. Them
It
baby
looks
hairs are-
beautiful. I didn't even
Them
notice
edges
there, baby.
are
It was
immaculate.
gorgeous.
But if I let
Yes,
this go,
beautiful.
it's this whole kinky crown fro, like
that's
which
hot.
is not to you because it might be exotic. In my
Why
family,
can't I just think it's hot? Why is it when a white guy likes something, it's like a kinky fetish? Why can't I just look at your hair and be like, yo, that shit's sexy. I want to
Okay,
pull in
touche.
it. Why is it?
Because you've
I've
been
been taught
conditioned to
otherwise.
believe
But I'm
that to
just
be
saying,
sexy. Latinas, it's the same way. Like Latinas are sexy,
Ain't
and
nobody
then
got to
black
be
women could be.
conditioned to like Latinas.
Now, I'm gonna tell you
Everybody
something.
like Latinas.
I was
Absolutely,
listening-
we
I
are
was listening-
fetishized. Jennifer Lopez, she's like mad beautiful for having like a fat ass.
She's
right?
mad
it's
beautiful for
one-
being mad beautiful.
but
She
it's
is, I
one
agree,
kind
but
of
my point
Latina.
is,
Jennifer Lopez doesn't represent the whole.
There are black people, aesthetically dark-skinned black people who look like Jennifer Lopez on every block, and they're not celebrated the same
That is
way
a fact.
because she is exotified in a way that aesthetically dark black person isn't.
That is a fact.
And what I'm saying is, as an Afro-Latina myself, you say I got a lot of Rachel, whatever, right? When I'm in a room full of white people don't treat me as white.
Exactly.
White people offhand know I'm not white.
Maybe you should start
They're
telling them
always
you're
like-
white.
Yeah, because you keep telling me
Say, I'm
Afro-Latino.
Afro-Caucasian.
Yeah,
And
say
see what
I don't
happens.
walk into a room and have to say anything.
I don't identify
Well, because you got the
White
big
people-
hoop earrings.
white people
If you got the
remind
big hoop
this
earrings,
guy.
we're gonna know you're Afro-Latina.
How do
Come on.
white people remind you?
When I walk into a room full of white people, I am reminded that I am not white
Remember what you said to
Why?
me?
because of the way they perceive you, the
Do
way
you
they
feel white in a room full of white people?
Do I feel white?
Yeah.
Are you talking about now,
Listen.
Charlemagne? This is post-bleaching
I call
or
my-
pre-bleaching
Yeah.
Whatever.
Charlemagne?
You as an
Yeah.
individual today, I don't know you. I don't know
Listen,
what you do.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
That's
When I walk in a room with anybody, you want to know what I feel like? I feel like a man of God. Like, I don't think about. I'm serious.
Also, you
Sell
live in
that
like
dream.
post-racial
Sell
America
that
where you don't
dream.
subscribe to like race politics. You
I
don't
just know-
consider yourself a black man in
No,
America.
I know I'm a black man.
Then you walk into a
But
room
you're also
knowing
very
you're black.
successful.
But
so
I
then-
know-
I
doesn't
walk into a
think
room
about
knowing
that.
I'm human.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
swear, I don't think about it.
Like you don't have to wear your race with you everywhere you go.
That's because you got money, I guess, in the bank account. Because
No.
I
But now
walk
you're making
into a
excuses
room-
for it.
No,
I'm
no,
always
no,
excuses
you
for it.
don't have to do that. There's a privilege that comes with being a white male in America.
And there's
Oh
a
yeah.
privilege
You
being
don't
white.
have
When I
to
walk
walk
into
into
this
a room.
radio
But
station,
why do we? Okay,
hold on. Let me say this
go.
one point. Because when I walk into this radio station we're right now, how many white people you see besides me?
Oh, it's a bunch. It's 100.
yeah.
Stop
Because
it.
I've only seen maybe 2 other white
No,
people.
no,
So
no.
when I walk in,
Yes,
I can't
because
just
you're
deny.
white. Us sitting
when
in
we were
this
sitting there, it
hallway.
was me, you, Wax, my brother, who's also
Yeah.
white. So the other white guys related to me. Then we had Wax friend, black guy that came out. Then we have everybody on
My
the
man,
Breakfast
in the
Club.
45 minutes that we waited to come in here, there was like mad white
Yeah,
people
it's
who
all
passed
white.
us.
Like you,
There
you,
was two
you,
fucking white people.
You,
and all
Look,
white
you were
men.
sitting by Power 105 at the
white
black
men.
My point is what I'm trying to say is what I'm trying to say is right here is that given the environment you're in, maybe my whiteness will stick out more. I understand your point is if we live in a majority white society, all of a sudden I am the quote unquote norm.
I think your
Now,
whiteness
if we
sticks out
just
to
walk
you.
around
No.
in certain places where the whiteness is not the norm right there, then my whiteness will stick out, and I am all of a sudden a white person, not just a person.
Now, I'm from Moncks Corner, South Carolina, right?
Yes.
Me and my wife, I remember one time vividly, me and my wife walked into this restaurant in Moncks Corner, a restaurant we've never been into. I think it's called the Barony House. I walked in and I saw mad white people in there. And immediately we looked at each other like, oh yeah, we're not eating in here. So the waitress comes up to us and the waitress goes, y'all don't want to eat in here? I'm like, nah. She was like, why? Because there's a lot of white people? I said, yeah. And then she was like, what, you don't want to sit with white people? I said, the food's probably nasty. So it wasn't a white thing. It was just it was all
It
white
is
people.
a white thing because
Hey.
you're equating lack of sazon or whatever seasoning you're looking for.
Yes.
With whiteness. So
Yeah.
that is conditioning.
But it wasn't the
That
race.
is
But it wasn't my.
conditioning.
But it wasn't my. It
It
wasn't
is a cultural
my.
thing,
But it
but
wasn't
that
my
is what it
race that
means.
made me feel like I didn't belong there. I'm just like I'm not eating
Let's
here
keep it
'cause
very real.
The food's probably
Let's
whack.
keep it very real. You go into an Indian restaurant, right? And
I
there's
love Indian
only
food.
white people eating in that Indian restaurant. You gonna eat at that Indian restaurant?
I don't
Yeah.
like Indian food.
You
I
gonna eat
love
at that Indian
people, though,
restaurant?
First of
but I
all,
don't
white
like
people
food
love everyone else's food.
Exactly. So when I see this shit, when I see only white people at an ethnic restaurant, I leave because I know it's not the real experience. I know it's a white version
Or
of
it's
that
just being
experience.
gentrified.
I think it's a white version of it. That's me personally. I like seeing, when I go Chinese food, I like seeing Chinese people. When I see Indian food, I like Indian people. When I go to Spanish food, I like seeing Spanish people, right? So that's just me personally when I see that.
What
But
Spanish
that's just, say
people
again?
like from Spain, like
In
Spaniard?
New York, we call Spanish people that speak Spanish.
And I'm not gonna front. I get a kick out of it. Like you
Kick
remember?
out of what?
Remember when
You
Wiz
look
Khalifa?
confused by that.
Because it's a
Spanish
language,
is a
so anyone
language, it's
can,
not
like,
a-
the
it's-
same way English is a
Did you guys
colonized
grow up in
language.
New York or
See,
not?
I didn't know that
Yeah.
either.
So
I
English was a colonized
no, I didn't know
language?
Spanish wasn't a thing. I thought Spanish people were Spanish people.
In New York, we call them
Spanish
Spanish.
people are from Spain.
Well, that's inaccurate.
Spanish people are from
Spain. I
Okay.
speak Spanish the same way you speak English. It's a learned language. It's a muscle. You learned how to speak English.
So are there
Yeah, I know
Spanish
that,
people
but-
here in America?
I'm sure there are people from Spain who have
Absolutely,
moved to
yeah.
America. Absolutely.
Why wouldn't there be? New York is,
But
a
it's a
culture.
So
label-
Puerto Rican is Puerto Rican.
It's a label
Rican
in
is
New
a
York that we
nationality.
use. Let's stop
Puerto
acting like
Rican-
we haven't heard this before. Growing up, people be like, "Oh, are you Spanish?" And
I
even
didn't
if
grow
you
up
type,
here, so I never
so that's
heard
why
that
you
till
don't know
like
this
2 years
experience.
ago,
And you're
and
not
that's
familiar with the
inaccurate.
cultural
Yeah.
experience.
So there's no
But
people
the
from
people
Puerto Rico
here.
here?
You, for example, growing up.
There are people
How
from
did you
Puerto Rico.
identify
The
growing up?
island of Puerto
And that's
Rico.
a conversation that we had prior to coming in here. We had two different experiences. She grew up in the Caribbean. She grew up in Puerto Rico.
Right.
So she had access to this thing, to this cultural identity that I didn't.
Yep.
So I struggled with that. So growing up and calling myself Spanish was completely inaccurate because I'm not Spanish. I'm Spanish speaking.
Yes.
But I am Dominican, and that's something that I had to learn along the way.
Right. Right.
Everyone else around me also thinks of it as Spanish.
Right.
And
but it's something that even Dominicans here and Puerto Ricans here would identify as, though. You could ask them, "Yo, are you Spanish?" Yeah, I'm
Yes.
Spanish. Da, da.
For the sake
that's
of
the problem
for
with
the sake of
anti-blackness.
for the sake of oversimplifying
Yes,
things.
it was oversimplifying.
What
things.
is
Absolutely.
anti-blackness though?
It's training you to say, let me separate myself from my actual community. Let me say I'm Dominican. Let me just say I'm Cuban. Let me just say I'm Puerto Rican. As opposed to saying I'm Afro-Latina. Like there is part of my identity that comes
That's a
from my
political
lineage.
act,
It's
by the way.
absolutely.
It's
Being
a
a person of
political
color
act.
is a political act and it's revolution. But like
What do you
it's like
mean?
the fact that you were to say, there are parts of you that might remind me of Rachel. I'm like, why? Because I'm fair skinned? That has nothing to do with the lineage
Your
I come
eyes,
from. My
your
dad
curly
is
hair.
a black man in the world. I was raised by a black man in the world. My mom is a light-skinned Puerto Rican woman. I am of color in any group. Like, it might be discomforting and a little confusing to certain people of color, aesthetically darker than I am.
Yes.
But a white person does not treat me like I'm white because they know I'm of color.
You're
So why
Afro-Latino.
do I have to walk into a room and then all of a sudden assume a new narrative, a bestowed narrative upon me? Like, you want to tell me what identity I have to choose.
Hold on.
And that's
Except
what
of living my own narrative.
And that's what I mean when I say when I walk into a room, I don't let nobody choose the narrative. I know what I am.
Why?
And I know that they know
Why? How do people know? Because you're.
Because I'm black.
Oh, so
I'm not
that's
Cuban.
what makes you black. The fact that your hue is darker than mine.
I mean,
Not
no,
the fact that your family comes from a history of like
I'm
enslaved
black.
people.
I don't know anything. Like I'm black. I don't know what to tell you. Like I'm black.
But that's not saying anything.
Yes, it is. It's saying everything.
What about children from the diaspora?
I don't even know what that is.
Children of the diaspora. The thing that here in America, it's African American is synonymous. They
With
make
blackness.
African American synonymous to blackness,
Mm-hmm.
and doing that negates everything else outside of America.
Yeah, you exclude a huge
I'm a child of the
people.
diaspora.
What's the diaspora? Please explain. It sounds
The
like something you take from the
translator.
diaspora.
The diaspora is the displacement of people. So like when you were when the slaves came from the middle, like all that, when the slaves
The
came,
Middle
there were like
Passage.
11 million people who landed in the Caribbean, right?
Gotcha.
Out of those million people who landed, only 600,000 landed in the U.S.
Okay.
So we are,
Which is
388,000.
crazy. No, my brother.
12.5 million people came up. Well, it's between
11.2.
12.5 and 16 million people came from. You're talking about the transatlantic slave trade?
Yes.
Yeah, and 388,000 came to the U.S., but by, like, I think it was maybe 25 years later or something like that, there was a quarter of black people in North
I
and
want to know
South
who counted
America
all these
were-
niggas. Because I don't believe none of these stats. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't believe none of these stats. I don't believe nobody was counting, doing a head count
Dude,
like
they were
that.
doing a
That
head
should
count.
have,
They
more.
were the ones that survived. Yeah, they
Yeah,
had
absolutely.
to.
12% would die on the way over.
You think?
Staggering, dude.
Yeah,
Staggering.
the pretty long ride. I don't think it was the best conditions.
Horrible conditions, dude. But
What
go
I'm
on.
saying is that children from the diaspora, so displaced people who like don't necessarily like I remember my cousin. She's like African American and Cuban, and she had this like beef with me because at one time I said, I was like, well, I'm not African American. And she thought that said that I didn't identify with my blackness because that's the only definition of black that she knows.
That we
being
all know.
African American made her somehow blacker than I was. And I'm like, first of all, I don't identify as a black woman because I don't live that narrative in the world. I am aesthetically light-skinned. All this privilege that's bestowed upon me because I'm a light-skinned person in the world. But
That's the
that
misconception.
doesn't mean, absolutely.
Light-skinned people do not get privilege. There's no beige privilege.
Yes, there is.
No,
sir.
there is.
Yes, there
it's
is.
the fact that I'm invited to this conversation and I'm like, I'm treated in a different way. When I have conversations about race and mostly academic environments, people listen to me differently because there is a huge stereotype associated with a dark skin. Yeah, absolutely, with a dark skinned woman. You're somehow more aggressive because I've seen it.
But you've never been
I
dark skinned.
prefer dark-skinned women.
Because I've seen the conversation
hold on. Let me
take
ask this
place,
question.
but I'm a person
Let me
of
ask
color,
this
so I
question.
can understand
Let me ask this
the
question.
implications
You
of
don't
it.
know anybody else's life but your own.
I
You
don't.
can't tell somebody what their life is. They can't tell you
So
what
are you
your
saying
life
that
is.
you don't
So you
have privilege 'cause you're white?
you can't tell a dark-skinned black woman that you're more privileged than her.
That's right, because if Kelly
can-
Rowland
That's
walks in here right
offensive.
now,
No,
I'm
no,
kicking
no,
both
no,
y'all
no,
out.
That's not what I'm saying.
And
No,
if Tika
that's
Sumpter,
not
if Tika
offensive
Sumpter
because
walks in
not
here right now,
acknowledging your
I'm kicking
privilege
both
is
y'all out.
offensive.
That's
That is not
offensive.
acknowledging
To
your
look
privilege
at
is
somebody and pity them big. Yo, your life is
no,
worse,
pity
yo.
them.
Your
Absolutely.
life
No, no, no,
sucks.
no, no, no.
To tell them their life sucks because of their skin
You're
color.
putting words in my
Absolutely
mouth.
not.
That's all I see that shit.
No, my love.
I don't.
No,
Are you kidding me?
I didn't hear that.
Lazy.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear
Don't
that.
look at me and tell
I know
me
you
my
didn't
life
hear
is
that.
shittier because of my skin color. That shit is offensive, yo. To look at someone and be like, yo, your life is worse than mine. My life is way
That's
better
not
than you.
what I'm saying.
That's
bro.
That's not what she said. That's not what she said.
Racism.
No, I recognize
I'm talking about
patronizing.
the world. No, you're patronizing right
So
now.
it's-
I'm the opposite.
Let her
I'm saying I'm
explain,
gonna
let her
treat you the
explain,
same
let
as
her
you can treat me.
explain.
I
Let her
don't care your skin color.
Let her explain. Let her explain.
What about one white man?
Let her explain.
You're
Let her
a white
explain.
man, and
Yeah.
you're not talking about the privilege that you have. Absolutely, I can't talk about privilege because I've seen it. I am treated in a different way than a dark woman. I just absolutely know that, and it's not a
That's
pity
depending
thing.
who you're around, though.
Exactly.
Because like I said, if Kelly Rowland was to walk in here right now and be like, hey,
Nobody's
I got
gonna
something
ask
to
you any
say,
questions.
I'm kicking y'all out.
Kelly
Yeah.
Rowland is a celebrity.
Kelly Rowland is a
Tika Sumpter.
celebrity. She's in the
All
upper
these people
echelon.
you're
Patty
talking
LaBelle.
about, they're celebrities.
I like beautiful
Oh my
dark skinned
God.
women.
Yeah, I don't see
I'm
the
not
big
gonna front. I
problem.
think that light skinned girls are stuck up acting sometimes because of y'all think that there's a narrative that y'all are better than people.
I don't think
Yeah.
I'm better than anybody.
Well, right now, that's
Yo,
all y'all been
you're
saying.
really
And light skinned guys are pussy.
Andrew.
All right, I've been saying that from day one. Waffle colored
If Andrew
Negro.
and I walked into this, and you know, strip away your fame, your whatever you have going on in life.
Yeah.
We walk into the same room for the same job.
Yeah.
You don't think that they're gonna look at you differently than me?
It depends.
there's
And
not
ex-
because he's
no,
a
no,
man,
it does-
but
Depends
Do
if
I
the
walk in there speaking Spanish? I speak Spanish. You
That's
don't know
true.
that about me. I used to live in
It's-
Spain.
it's
but you
irrelevant.
assume that I don't speak Spanish,
No,
so
I
it
didn't
depends.
assume
that.
anything.
Of course you did. You looked at me and thought I spoke Spanish.
Why would she
Aesthetics,
think
no,
that?
I didn't care if you spoke English,
So how-
Portuguese.
Aesthetics and
No, great
colorism
point.
play a huge
You
role
didn't
in our
give a
society.
fuck. So you didn't give a fuck. So why the fuck do you think people give that much of a fuck about you?
No.
If
Why
you don't
would-
give a fuck about me,
that is
why do you
give a
think
fuck
people
about
care
me.
about you?
Why do you think she? Why
You're
would she
thinking-
think that you spoke Spanish?
That's my point. My point is, why would anybody think all these things she's assuming about herself? Nobody's looking at. They're looking at her. They go, maybe she got nice
That's not
eyes.
what I'm saying.
Nobody's
No,
going,
that
this
is what
person is.
society tells
I,
you.
Vanessa Marco, am not the authority on a whole community of people. I'm talking about
Your experiences.
my experiences.
But you
And
have
you're
no problem
accusing me of
telling.
things that I am
You
not
have no
saying.
problem saying what dark-skinned black women or white people
That's not
feel
what
in
I'm
terms
saying.
of privilege.
I'm
That's
saying
exactly
the
what you're
world
saying.
has a
No,
problem with
she's
that. No, absolutely not.
not.
Because
That's what you just said.
I've seen my best friend get shot up because he's a dark man in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that firsthand. I've seen my friends be treated differently at restaurants because of who she looks like in the world. So I don't need you to tell me how to validate my
Is that
experiences
skin
and what
privilege
narrative I
or
lived. It is
beauty
skin
privilege?
It's not a beautiful thing, there is.
You
such
can
a
have a
thing as
light-skinned
that.
ugly bitch. She ain't getting no fucking privilege.
Don't have to call women bitches.
Oh my
Why
God.
not?
Nobody's denying everything
This
she's saying.
hypothetical light-skinned girl could be a bitch.
Yeah, but everything she's saying is true. Yes, there is privilege, but I think that sometimes we have to embrace our own privilege. Like, I really feel that way. I feel like as a black man, a black displaced man, or whatever y'all want to, I don't know. I feel like I have privilege too.
You do.
You
I
do.
do.
Have
I feel like
privilege.
you women have
We
privileges.
do,
just
but that's not the
beautiful
grand
Afro-Latino
problem.
women.
The problem is when we talk about race, you have to acknowledge all the factors that play into it. The fact that I am invited into these spaces, the fact that certain people.
What makes you think you're invited because of your skin color?
It could be because you're smart.
No, I'm
Yeah,
brilliant.
it could
I'm
be
a
because
brilliant
you're a
woman.
great
What I'm
networker.
saying
Why are
is-
you knocking yourself? Maybe
I'm
you're
not lying. If
intelligent.
you'll let
That's
me
why we
finish
want you in here.
If
Let her
you would let
finish,
me
let her
finish my opinion,
No.
maybe we can get somewhere. But what I'm saying is, that in terms of my own narrative, I've seen the way certain people of color are silenced, and I've seen the way certain people are open to me in a different way. When I speak in front of white people, they're a lot more accepting, and also they're a lot more
because she's not
they
threatening.
don't feel as
She's
threatened.
not threatening.
Have I been accepting?
She's not
No,
threatening.
not really. You've
So
actually
maybe
been very combative.
There
but
you go. So not all white people are going to treat you the same
No,
way.
but they ask questions to me that they don't necessarily ask to my dark friends. Like I remember this one girl asked me how I felt about Bill Cosby. And if Rihanna was appropriating Miley Cyrus, and how do I feel about? And then when they asked my darker friend, they were scared to ask her because they thought that would be offensive.
No, because you know what they say to your
what?
darker friend? They say to your darker friend, you watch Empire, don't you?
You do.
I love Cookie.
Exactly. That's what they do. Or they feel that they're
And that's
offending her
real.
in a way that they don't feel like they're offending me because I am light-skinned. So they don't feel that I should be offended by they stereotyping my own people because they don't necessarily believe
You're going to
that
tell.
I'm as affected
so you're
by
gonna sit
blackness
here-
as the way a darker person is.
So you're going to sit here and tell white people that are asking those questions exactly what they were feeling while they asked the question. You have no issue with that. You have an issue with people putting a narrative in your head and telling you who you are as a
No,
person.
that's
But
not
you
what
have
I'm
no
saying.
issue
No,
saying
this is-
these
speaking
white
from her
people,
experience.
these
No,
white
I'm speaking
people
from her
decide.
lived
Yeah, your
experience.
experience is
Right.
your experience, but
Right.
you can't dictate their experience. You're sitting here
dictating anybody. I'm
confidently
just letting you know
saying
how I
that they
experienced the
asked you
situation.
these questions because of these reasons, because of their uncomfortability with race.
Because they
I-
told me.
I agree
feel
with her.
really
They
comfortable
later said it?
asking
Yes.
these questions.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So they
have
later said-
I feel comfortable asking these questions because I feel like you get it and you won't be mad at me for asking. Because they don't think that they're stripping me from my blackness because there's some sort of comfort in my light skin. They don't think I'm going to come for you. Like, they don't think they're disrespecting my people because they think because I'm fair skinned that I understand their struggle more than I do understand black people.
I agree
If
with
they
her.
admitted it, then fine. I thought that this was your assumption.
Listen,
They admitted it.
I agree with you because I told y'all months ago, like, you know, when Empire was on, like, you really would have white people coming up to you asking you about Empire and Cookie and the Empire soundtrack. And I'm like, bro, we can talk about much more than that kind of shit. Or like when I was in LA and I didn't even know I was sitting next to Elon Musk and they're talking about, you know, the UFOs and aliens, and we jump into the discussion and start having this whole broad discussion and they're looking all shocked like, wow, you watch Ancient Aliens? Like, oh,
Right.
wow, you're into that kind of stuff? Like,
Right, because
thing
they
is, like, my
tried. They
problem
thought they
is-
had you figured out beforehand.
yeah.
Right.
So what's wrong with being wrong?
Based off.
What's wrong with not knowing things?
No,
I think
it's, no.
problem
There's
is, like,
nothing
we're-
wrong with. That's why I love that. The one thing that I loved what Charlamagne did over Twitter between our quote unquote beef was that he asked the right questions. He
Right.
genuinely did not understand. That I respect.
And the thing too, language is important. We keep saying white people, and the problem isn't white people. I fuck with a lot of white people. I'm saying the problem is whiteness. Is this idea that there
That
is
it's
no-
better.
Yeah, we need to understand that there
Yeah.
are differences. That we are different people. Like that race and identity is something that is something that needs to be discussed. I don't have a problem with you as a white person talking about race and asking me all these questions. This is how we move forward.
Yes.
I do have a problem with you saying, "Oh, I just feel like because I'm white, I'm not even allowed to have the conversation." That's not the problem.
Who
the
said
problem
that?
is a lot of people.
A lot.
A lot of
When
people.
you say
not
you,
you. No, the
stop
general
taking
you.
things
The
personal,
general
Shorty.
you.
When
The
you say
general
you,
you.
I'm gonna
You
take it
really,
personal.
you really come in. You
general
think I'm
you.
coming at you, and I'm not. Like
Yeah.
you
'Cause
just
I'm
happen
not-
to be the white person in this room, and
So I'm not going to represent all white people.
I don't expect you to.
Right.
Good. I'm glad we're on the
I
same
think that
page
you
with it.
expect me to. I have like no expectations of you as
No,
a person.
I don't have
I
any.
just feel like whiteness is something that needs to be dismantled, and this idea of white supremacy needs to be addressed, and this idea of people of color being stereotyped and saying, "Oh, she's a black girl from the Bronx," that somehow makes it different than a black girl from Cuba. And it's like, no,
And
we
be-
are
yeah.
black people, and in that there's a spectrum. In the Caribbean, there's such a thing as being trigueño and mestizo and mulatto and jabao. These are all parts of black. I'm considered a jabá in the Caribbean, a person aesthetically light.
Jabá.
A person aesthetically light
sounds
with
tasty.
African features. I have what is called a black nose. My mouth looks some type of way, the texture of my hair. But I also have light eyes, and I'm extremely fair skinned. So I get that. I get the culturally ambiguous confusion. I understand that. But I also need to challenge that narrative. I will not have you invalidate my existence because it makes you uncomfortable. I will not slap my father in the face and pretend like he's not my father. Like, that's just not something I ride for. And I do challenge that belief because I'm sorry if you don't feel like it's true, but the way I look does get me in the door. Like, and it is a skin tone thing because whatever, if you think some people, the same way you or certain people might think of me and that I live a certain narrative of what might be considered beautiful, where I'm from, that's not how it was treated. In Puerto Rico, I was treated like a person of color. I didn't look like Rosalyn Sanchez or Jennifer Lopez, so I wasn't pretty. I don't have
Not
pelo
the ideal
lacio,
pretty.
like I'm not, my hair's not laid, so I wasn't getting any play. So I get to
So
the
basically, you're saying
States.
you was an ugly Latino girl.
They thought of me as like some ugly girl from the block
Yeah.
because of my blackness. You know, parts of me that they didn't accept. And then here, I'm
Maybe
like,
you were just ugly.
That is true.
maybe
too. I
that
don't think
could be
you are.
it.
I don't
That
think
could
you
be
are.
it.
Why can't you
But
just be ugly?
that
That could
is
be it.
Why you
that
guys
could
tell
be it.
everything off to
Like,
the
Because what they would highlight
Maybe
were
you were
parts of me
busted
that
as
were
a young
black.
kid.
They would say I
You're
wasn't
very pretty now.
my cute.
You're
my
very
game,
pretty
my
now.
game was
You
cute.
pretty though.
Maybe as a young
appreciate
kid,
it.
you were ugly,
I
and it
appreciate
had
it.
nothing to do with
Let me
your
see some young
skin tone
pictures.
or your features.
Oh
Your
I
my
thought it
features-
was cute. But what I'm
Nah,
saying is, a lot of people.
Nah, man, you might have been
But
fucked up
what
looking.
they
yo.
would highlight were parts of me that were black. They'd be like, "You'd be pretty if your nose was smaller."
Yeah.
Maybe
Vanessa,
you have-
why don't you believe in the beauty parlor? Don't you straighten your? I had a boyfriend who was
Your
like,
hair
"So you don't
looks
just
gorgeous.
believe in the beauty?
Gorgeous.
Like you can't go to a beauty parlor?
Keep it like that.
Like things like that are
Beautiful.
anti-black. Like you don't like my nose? Like
That's
Well,
another
you can have a fucked up nose. Maybe
You
your face
could,
grew
but
into it.
that's
I'm
how
just
it is.
saying, maybe your face grew into your nose.
You could
Now your nose
everything.
doesn't look
There's-
big to me personally.
That's another thing that
I like your
confused me
hair. I
about
really
the
think you
Dasha.
should keep it like
Appreciate
that.
That
Yeah.
confused me about the Dasha conversation too, because when she said she's Dominican in the Dominican Republic, but black over here, and I'm like, how do you pick and choose? Like, and she was saying it's because of
She's
perception.
not picking and choosing. People are picking
People
and choosing
decide it,
for her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
absolutely.
deciding her narrative.
Yeah.
That's what I have a problem with.
Mm-hmm.
You telling
We
I've
all
had
experience that,
I've
though.
had white people tell me, my white friends tell me, "Oh, you're not black, you're Spanish." Like and that makes them feel better that they don't have to deal with that.
Or they just
That-
assume it. My whole life, people have been thinking I'm
No,
Jewish.
my friends
My whole
know.
life, they think I'm
My-
Jewish. People
yeah.
that I know that don't like Jews have
And
thought
how
I
do you
was
feel
Jewish
about
my whole
that?
life. I don't give a fuck. I am who I am. What you
So
think
you
about
don't
me ain't going to
clarify?
change it.
You don't say I'm not
If
Jewish?
they ask me, I'm going to say I'm not, but I
But
don't
if they
start
don't,
every
you just let them
conversation
believe
by
that
going,
you're
hey, I just
Jewish.
want to let you know I'm Andrew
I'm
Schultz. I know
saying,
my
you
last
say,
name's
you
Jewish,
know
but
what?
I'm not Jewish.
It's easy to say you don't give a fuck, but if some goddamn Nazis was chasing you down the street, you'd be like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah, let them know. No, Schultz is German? Let me clear this shit up right now.
But go ahead, what you were saying?
No, it's just that. That's what I have a problem with. Someone telling me what I am and what I'm not. And it's just like, even going back to the whole hair thing. Like, I grew up in a household where my mom didn't know what to do with my hair. And at 6, 7, 8, 9, you don't get to choose. My entire life, she's had to relax my hair because she just didn't know what to do with it. Because in our culture, it's considered bad hair. And it's just like, so when you grow up thinking that, like, yeah, just that. It's been denied my whole life by my own parental units.
Wow.
Like that's and
Why is Latino culture so racist?
it's not just Latino culture.
It's all over.
Because
you go to South
we've been
America,
trying to
to the
assimilate
Caribbean.
our whole life, and the way to assimilate is say the lighter, the more closer to whiteness. It's conditioned. We are conditioned to want to be white. In the census,
Why? Why do you think
80%
that
of
is?
Puerto Ricans answered that they were white.
Why do you think that is? Though? What
Because
what
we
exists
live
there
in
that-
this world is all under the doctrine of like white supremacy.
You know what's so crazy about that? Just for me being a young man from the South, all the Latinos, Spanish people, Mexicans, they always seem to have the most pride for me. They have the most pride in me. But I'm realizing as I get older, like y'all really did not have that pride. It's all been a front.
It's pride in
definitely-
culture,
it's
but not
not-
pride in color.
It's different though.
Yeah.
And I went to school in the South, so the culture there is different. But it's
we attack ourselves.
That's what I
But we
yeah.
don't want white people to attack. It's like we don't like. Well, I never did, but a lot of Latinos won't identify with black. But let a white person call them white, they'd be disrespected.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Interesting.
there's a lot of, it's complex, it's a colonized culture.
It's a self-hate
There is such a
thing,
thing. It's a
and
self-hate
it is
thing.
taught.
And it is taught, absolutely. And there's a lot of, white-looking Latinos, which predominantly European ancestry, who do walk around thinking that they're better than a dark-skinned Latino. And then that happens. Like I dated someone who's a lot darker than I am and aesthetically Afro-Latino, and his grandma was hella hyped that I'm light-skinned, because she saw it as like, oh, you're going to embetter the race if you guys have more kids. We're like that much closer to whiteness. How problematic is that?
Sammy Sosa bleaching his skin.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
People
that's a problem.
Trujillo,
And
the
that's what I was
dictator, getting
gonna
lighter
say.
every single year.
And that's
in
what I
his
was going to
pictures.
say. When you have decades of a person like Trujillo telling a
Tell who that is. Tell them who that is.
Trujillo is
The dictator of the Dominican
dictator of the
Republic.
Dominican Republic who died years ago, and for like
Who was
30 plus
horrible.
years, literally like slaughtered generations of Haitians and Black Dominicans.
Yeah.
Someone who would lighten his own skin. Meanwhile, his mother is of Haitian descent. And And it's just like when you have, that's problematic because that's taught, that's embedded. You know, he ruled over an entire country, and in those eras, especially in that era, like you would die being black.
Really?
Like it was just not even cool. Like that was just not even the thing.
Yeah.
And so that goes down lineages. That travels.
Yeah.
And then you get someone like Fidel Castro who runs Cuba and teach people how to be like proud of their blackness. You know, in Cuba, there's a huge movement of being Afro-Cubano. Like we're very prideful of like where we're from and like our ancestry. We practice Yoruba. You know, like we
What is
believe
Yoruba?
It's a spiritual religion.
It's also an original language, right?
It's from Nigeria.
Africa.
But
Yeah.
the thing is, it's like basically we believe in black gods like Olumare or Chango, Yemaya. All these are like we don't believe in this like white Jesus, you know, because that's not where our people are from.
All those symbols like white Jesus, all they do is reinforce white supremacy.
You're praying to a white man.
Yes, and this goes back to a conversation we had a couple weeks ago when you talk about like black pride. Yo, we gotta have pride in ourselves because all throughout the world it seems like
they don't.
We're taught to
That's
not
the one
love
thing
each other, love ourselves.
like places all over the world have in common.
But
Anti-blackness.
Absolutely.
That's
And these
everywhere.
conversations of like, you know, stating, well, you're not necessarily black enough, essentially divides us. You know, like if you don't even know what community you're rooted in, how are you going to go to bat? Like, how are you going to defend your people if you don't even know who your people are? As a child of diaspora, how do you want me to identify?
You have to change your mindset though, because like when I walk into a room full of white people, fully aware that I'm a black man, and I take advantage of it. I like being like how Wiz Khalifa said, I'm the only nigga in first class. I like being that nigga. I like being the guy that's in there talking to all the white people. Like I have no problem moving through any of those rooms.
Because you like challenging people's views of who you are.
Yeah.
But why does one person of color always have to be the token? Why do we have
Who says
to
I'm a token? Maybe I'm just special. Maybe I'm here because I believe I can be here.
That's real.
Like for real.
You're here for your talent.
But
not
I
for your
just
black
think that
ass.
it's unfortunate that in that room, I think it's unfortunate the conversation for you to have to say when I walk into a room full of white people. Yeah. Why does it just have to be just you? Why can't it just be like an Asian girl in the door already? Why does she like? There's so many
there are
limitations
rooms where you walk
to
in,
it.
CEOs, black directors, black
Absolutely,
movie
but
producers.
it's also in the industry that you navigate. We're also talking about hip hop and who started that, people of color. So yeah, you maneuver in a lot of spaces with a lot of people of color, but usually in corporations, in the real ass world, is just white people running shit, and everybody else is like,
I think
just
that's
running
a narrative
behind.
that we want to believe. I'd like to know the statistics on that. If black people in America are 12%, I'd like to know the statistics in terms of how many CEOs they are and
no,
and
that's
how
not
many,
a lot of black CEOs.
I know
Especially a Fortune 500 companies, it's only really like 3.
Yeah, but let's find out who they are. Like, let's do more celebrating this instead of saying there are none
I know
of them.
one
because
is
when
the
we
head of
start
McDonald's.
when we start saying there's none of them, I think we start putting it in our own heads. We can't do it.
Right.
But when we start celebrating those who are doing it already,
Absolutely.
all of a sudden it seems
I
more
agree.
attainable.
I
you know?
absolutely agree, but I also just think that we also need to
It's 5, right?
talk
Yeah,
about
it's only
facts.
5. It's 5. It's 5 that are head of Fortune 500 companies. One's McDonald's. One's Microsoft.
American. See, these are
American
huge. We
Express.
should know about
What's
this.
the computer one?
I don't know, but we
I
should.
get that, but I also feel like people
IBM.
are quick to be like, well, let's celebrate our victories. I'm like, great, we should, but we should also talk about like, why is it that it's only 5? Like, why do we have to have that conversation? Like, I'm all about puppies and rainbows and like the world is a better place.
puppies and
But the
rainbows,
reality
it's about
is it's hard for
celebrate-
people
But
of
this is what you
color.
got to remember. This is what you
Showing
got to
it.
remember. We're like how many years removed from segregation? That was like 1968. 8. Like, look how far we've come in that short amount of time.
Absolutely.
I'm always thinking about 30 years from now. Brown people, y'all taking over. Like
You
America.
are a brown person in the world as well, though.
I know, but I'm saying with
Okay.
Mexicans,
So you also taking over, though.
the Latinos,
Right.
the country's gonna be majority y'all
Yeah.
in a minute. All right, and then I look at how far black people have come. Like, yo, we got a black president now. It hasn't even been that long ago. We got out of segregation. You got to give us time. Like, these guys got a 400-year
Yeah,
start
I
on
ain't
us.
got time. I'm ready for it right now.
See,
Like,
that's that entitlement and that patience. No, you have the patience.
That
It's
has
not
not
entitlement. It's pride.
entitlement.
I think black people deserve it. I think that,
We gonna get it.
people of color have been
You
very
are getting
patient.
it.
We're getting it.
We are getting it.
I
That's
agree.
important
That's why
they
to put in
scared
the
now.
narrative.
Absolutely. I agree.
And stop this they scared. We need to stop this language.
That's
because
why they
you said-
are terrified.
No, you said something earlier that kind of upset me in a weird way. Where you said like, there's one thing the world agrees with is that they're anti-black, right? But if you go throughout the world, and I've traveled throughout the world, I cannot tell you how many different ways that Black American culture at least is celebrated. Not only Black American culture,
What are we getting credit for?
Latino culture. If you go to fucking Vietnam right now, salsa is huge. There are salsa
but
classes.
Those
even-
are part of our culture
even
that's
the
being
root-
said. Is the black person being celebrated, or are you hearing
That's
like,
true.
oh, you pretty for a black person? Or and if
Why
you
do you
go to-
care so much about beauty? Let's talk about intellect. Let's talk
But that's
about
what I said.
culture. Let's
my
talk about all
dude,
these
my
other
dude,
things.
my dude,
But
my
that's
dude.
like-
All we're talking about is what was pretty. I'm talking
But are we
about.
getting-
That's a form of racism. Saying you telling me, oh, you pretty for a black girl. Are you making people feel less than themselves because
true.
they're black?
Who's
That's
saying, are you
absolutely
pretty for a black girl?
The world.
The world says that.
I've
You're
never
a white
heard
dude.
anybody said that.
You're a white
I'm a
dude.
white
No
guy
one
and I
else
don't
does.
say that.
So you want a cookie for that?
I'm
Like,
trying to give
a
you the
lot of-
explanation. Like,
Why do you think white people eat cookies?
I don't know. I just like that saying. You want a cookie for that?
You're appropriating our sayings. Stop it. Okay?
I just love that
Stop
saying. Like,
it.
you want a cookie? You want
I
a
want
party?
you to give me something else.
I just want to give him a cookie
A
because,
golden star.
again, I don't think you're that way, and I'm sure you
Where
are
are these
one
white
of those
people that you're talking about? That's what I want
Nah,
to
she's
know.
right. She's
at
not
the
lying.
bodega,
Is she-
down the
who?
street.
Where
from-
is she? I don't
in
know these.
school,
I
in
grew up
academia,
born and
in
raised
the
here in New York City,
workforce.
right?
You're
With
an
tons of
anomaly.
Latinos.
You said
I'm
it.
not an anomaly.
But you said it
We
right
gotta
there.
Stop it with this
No, no.
anomaly
You-
shit.
stop.
yo.
I told you
the
this before.
anomaly is what she's talking
I've told
about.
you this before.
Switch the narrative.
I've told you this before.
No,
The
you
white
want us to switch the
experience.
narrative because it makes you more comfortable
No,
to
no, no.
believe
I want
that
you
white
to be
people
more
don't treat.
comfortable.
I am very comfortable in
No,
who I am as a
that's
person.
you're not comfortable.
Listen,
You're having
son,
a bit like
Listen, first of all, I want you to be more comfortable in the world. It's hard for you to be comfortable in this world where you're thinking every single white person is doing all these analytics when they
I don't
see
think
you.
every single
It's not
white
some
person.
Terminator
No.
shit.
I think
when
white
you
This
do
what
people
that.
Andrew-
do
this
that.
what
I
Andrew
think that
does.
you're
We
projecting
don't
because
have
I think
a
that
problem
you
with
feel
white people.
offended as you should because you're a white person, so you feel attacked. Absolutely.
I don't care. I literally
Right,
do not
right,
care
right.
about
You
that
don't
shit.
care
I'm
about anyone.
Scottish.
Yeah, you're not affected.
No,
but
I'm
what I'm
Scottish.
saying is most.
Just
but
like
what
you're
I'm
like
saying,
Afro-Latina, I'm
Let her
Scottish.
talk. Let her talk. Let her
but
talk.
that's great. But what I'm saying
So-
is there is a lot.
So you're going to dismiss my culture, but I got to know
No, I
everything
said
about
that's
your
She gotta get her
culture?
point out. She gotta get her point out.
No,
Go
I
ahead.
felt like
Consistency.
that's great. I think that that's a great thing. You
I
should be
was
very proud
condescending.
of being Scottish.
It was very condescending.
It was not condescending.
Let her talk.
Let's go,
You're
let's
being
go.
a fight.
I
It's on
think
your
it's-
face.
Let's go. Let's go. I
think
need
it's
consistency.
beautiful.
I'm not taking
I'm a
offense.
very
Go
consistent
ahead, talk.
person.
Go ahead, baby. Go ahead. Go
I
talk.
think that you saying not all white people, that's like all lives matter type of language. Like, I'm all about optimism, but the reality of the situation is there's a huge population of people who do subscribe to this idea of anti-blackness.
Yes.
That's just what it is.
And
I'm
I'm
so sorry.
Sure.
And a lot of, and that's a way of, honestly, that's a way of you derailing the conversation.
I
You
would
telling
say-
me that I don't have a right to feel that way invalidates my narrative. You know how I know I have a right to feel like that? Because I walk into these rooms and this is how I'm treated on a regular basis.
basis.
It's been my narrative and I can't pretend to live a different one. I can only speak from my own perspective.
Absolutely.
And I'm really sorry if I offend you.
No, you
but-
don't.
Okay, perfect.
Because
Because that's
you-
not my intention. But I'm just speaking
I'm
from
trying
my
to
own
educate you
experiences
about
as I
white
am trying
people.
to educate you.
Exactly.
But you can't
So
speak
you
for all
can't
white
educate
people,
me
Andrew.
I can't tell
about
you-
white people.
I can't hold it. You can educate me about white people?
No,
I'm white.
I can't.
No,
I understand
Andrew, you
that,
can
but
you can
can't
speak
tell
from
me
no,
about white
Andrew.
people.
You can speak from your experience because I keep telling you, white people in New York are not like white people in the South. They're not
Sure.
like white people in the Midwest.
Sure.
If you want to see anti-blackness, go down there.
Sure.
Those Trump supporters that Trump's riling up, they not in New York.
I agree with you. I agree with you absolutely. But I think it's very important. I think it's very important that we acknowledge that this anti-blackness exists within the Latino community amongst all shades within the Latino community. We're acting like this is a white American problem. This is a Euro
It is. I agree.
Caribbean problem that has been brought to the Caribbean and South America through celebrity. Listen. I'm not saying it's not a white problem in America as well, but we're acting like this is just some American shit that's been brought on.
We
You go
just
to
said it
Brazil,
wasn't.
you go to
We
any
just
part of
said-
the- I
we
am listening.
said that
I
this
am
is
listening.
worldwide.
I am listening. I understand it's worldwide. I understand it's worldwide. All I'm saying is in the scope of this conversation right here, it seems like we're kind of pushing this off of our own culture and putting it on white Americans when you know very damn well there's sayings there's at least in Mexican culture, no seas indio, way. Don't be an Indian. That's a way of saying don't be stupid.
But I understand that.
Do you know what I'm saying? That,
Yeah.
like the fact that that's even a saying within the culture. Why are we addressing this?
What we have to stop doing
we're
is
talking
generalizing.
about people of color, anti-blackness,
But-
all these things.
Nobody
are,
said anti-Indian.
But we have to
There's
stop.
no knowledge
Indians
of
are people
Indian.
of color.
We have
And
to
that's why
stop-
that term is used.
But it's not
because
blackness. They're not. They wouldn't
People of
identify
color?
as black. The
People
Indians
of
would not.
color.
People
no,
who are
but they're
Indian,
people
native
of
people.
color. There is black and there are people of color. Under people of color is a rainbow. Indians fall under it. Asians fall under it. A lot of people,
Yeah.
Black people don't
minorities
fall
fall
under
under it.
people of color?
Again, that's what I'm saying to you. Yeah, absolutely. People of color. But to be black is a term of pride because it's been taken away from people so much.
Indian too.
That's
am I
what
black?
I'm saying.
I
But
just
I'm
wanna
saying
know.
Why are
that
you
there's
repeating what I'm saying to you?
because you're not listening to what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
I'm saying that people of color, it constitutes a lot of different people.
Yeah.
A black person is a person of color, but I, for example, don't identify as a black woman. I am ethnically black.
You got black,
I
brown,
identify
indigenous
as a person
people.
of color
Yeah.
because I'm multicultural. You're saying that we're talking about something else. I'm not. I'm saying that there are a lot. It's a larger conversation.
Yes.
There are a lot of different categories that people fall into.
And
you're over here like Indians. I'm like, this is not an all lives matter conversation. This is specific about Afro Latino and heritage of blackness. Why am I gonna talk about Asian culture when this was a conversation about Afro Latino?
Because Indians have played a huge part
But
in
that's not why I was invited
Latino
here.
culture. They've played a huge part in the way that you look,
But what
your
she's saying is
genetic
true, though.
heritage. So my point is, I find
And
it
so
very,
has
I
African
find it,
ancestry.
I know, but I find it very interesting that there's this pride movement towards black, but still
Because
this,
it's been
this
a thing that has been
non-acknowledgement of the
denied. It's been
Indian,
stripped of
the
us.
non-acknowledge it. So has the Indian.
It's not
Not the
about.
same
way as
No,
black.
it's not in the same way.
Not in the
Not in
same
the same
way.
way.
You came out here
My
on
own
this
family,
topic.
My own family says not to be black, not to bring home black.
What about Indian?
Lighten
They
your
don't say
lineage.
that.
That's not.
We're not talking
If
about
you
We're not
brought-
talking
if you
about
brought-
They're not
Indians.
around. They
We're
killed
not
them all.
talking about that.
The people killed them all.
We're not talking about Tainos. We're not talking about that.
Also, let me
people
just say,
kill them all.
also,
My
let me
people
just say, also, can I say, like, indigenous culture is really big in Mexico. It's really big in Peru,
Central
Bolivia.
America, South America, yes.
Exactly.
I can
In
only-
the Caribbean, African culture is really
It's
big.
very
and we're talking
big.
specifically
And-
about being Afro-Latino. I hear your point. I agree with your point. But to me personally, it sounds like some all lives matter conversation when we were specifically invited to talk
Afro-Latino.
about Afro-Latino.
Absolutely.
So we're
But
not
I
going
also
off
just have
topic.
other questions. I
Absolutely,
think it's
but you're
on
attacking
topic.
us on our perspective
You
when
take
that's
it
not
as
what we're
attack.
talking
I'm
I
about.
don't
asking you a
expect y'all to have
question.
Indian pride. 'Cause y'all,
I do.
y'all are
I'm absolutely
Afro-Latino.
all day, boo.
But that's part of it's an integral part of the culture. They were the first people there.
I don't know nothing about that. I
Well,
got black
natives
brothers.
were the first people everywhere.
Natives,
Like,
well, not
Allegedly.
everywhere.
Allegedly, yeah.
I mean,
This is my
first
thing,
people
though.
in America.
This is my thing.
Africans were the
I
first
think a
people
lot of
everywhere.
times when we don't
True.
know about each other's cultures, we generalize. And that's just something I'm trying to get away from. I don't like to just say white people do this, black people do that. Because the truth of the matter is some white people do that.
Yeah.
Then you got some that are like this who are just clueless and they just don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? So I don't think that we should be generalizing so much with things.
I just think it's very easy to generalize with whiteness. We just go, oh, white people feel this way, but then everybody wants their own specific narrative to be spoken. And I feel like we should have
Because
consistency.
they're oppressed.
If you want your own specific narrative to be
Oppressed people
spoken,
do want to have their
Now
own
that is
perspective.
There
she's
are
right,
oppressed-
and that's
there are
one.
oppressed white
that's
people,
one
too.
narrative.
Like-
no, but that's the problem. That's one narrative that white people never get, even though it's true. There are oppressed white people,
Yes, of
but
course.
but the symbols in
Classism is
America,
real.
They got the power.
exactly. Even though all
the
those
poor white people have the power.
White
Nobody-
people in
what do you
general
always
have the
say?
power.
Those poor white people
say
have
it.
power.
What do you say?
What do you say?
Nobody thinking about no poor white
Nobody gives a
niggas.
fuck about
Nobody
poor
thinking
white people.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Nobody cares about them poor white niggas. You wasted your good white skin. You got
Exactly.
It's
That's your
called
fault.
low form bigotry. It's basically we
Hey.
expect more. We
There
expect
you
more
go.
from white people. So when white people are poor, we go, you fucked up.
You
It's called
fucked
white
up.
fucked up.
supremacy. It's what we live in. It's a different standard. Like the same way there are a huge population of people who are white and on welfare, yet black people are the one who
Stigmatized
Are the
as the
symbol
ones
of
who
welfare.
don't work.
And
Are
that's
a
Absolutely.
symbol of
like,
welfare.
It's just
Absolutely.
what black on black crime, as if white people aren't killing white people.
Everybody kills
As if
their own
black
people.
And as if black on black
But
crime
all
is a
we
reason
talk
for you
about-
to just help in the process.
Absolutely.
Everybody
But
kills their
all
own
we
people.
talk about
That
is
the black on black crime is a
That's a fact.
statistical thing. There's the statistics show that there's way more crime per capita in the black community than
I
other
think-
communities, even other communities of equal median income.
The
and
media,
that's why that's
the
said that
media
way.
purposely sells the narrative of black people being poor, of black people being
Because-
criminals, when it's just as many white people doing all the same bullshit too.
Statistically, that's inaccurate.
I don't know.
But there's systemic oppression. There's
more white people on welfare, for sure.
Not per capita, but there are more white people percentage-wise because there are more white people in the country. But you have to calculate systemic oppression. You have to calculate the fact that black people couldn't even get home loans until fucking 30 years ago. Like crazy things that have oppressed black people throughout U.S. history.
It's not
so
crazy
obviously
things.
there are other
It's
things
white people
going on.
That's who's oppressed us. Now let's
Whatever
wrap
it
this
is.
up. Final thoughts on being Afro-Latino. Go.
It's lit.
It's lit. It's all the way lit. And just know not to deny someone's narrative when they're telling you, just because I speak Spanish doesn't make me any less black.
I never will again.
I'm just all about that Latino pride, Afro Latino pride, and I just think that these conversations are important to have because they challenge the narrative and expands people's knowledge on what's what. So.
And even the very things that that we attribute as quote unquote Latino are all traced back to African ancestry. That's music, that's culture, life.
Don't forget about our Indians.
Religion.
Don't forget about our Indians.
Don't forget about All Lives Matter, people. Like this
Don't
man
forget
over here
about
got
our
me
Indians,
fucked up.
All the way.
I like
Black Lives
I like how
Matter.
you made Indians the police. How the fuck did
No,
you make
you. I
Indians
made
the police,
you.
yo?
I made you the
Indians
police. You the
police.
The
Listen.
white man is the symbol of
You the
police in
motherfucker.
America.
Yeah, but she just
You're the police.
She just
the
related
police.
all lives matter to Indians.
No,
you made
to
the
your-
most
to your
murdered
language,
fucking
to
people
your
in the
language.
world the police.
To
Yo,
your
that is
language.
funky.
Let's
To the
end on the
language-
important
to the
stuff.
language-
Anything
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter should be attributed to the Native Americans.
Let's-
I
They're
do,
the ones
yeah,
that are being
absolutely. I
exterminated.
didn't equate that. I am creating the way
You are equating to them. You
navigated
making
the
the Indians the
conversation.
police, yo.
I'm
That shit
just
is
talking
weird.
about the way you've navigated
I
the
think it's
conversation.
easy that we just ignore them.
Now, let's
They've been
end,
ignored throughout.
let's end on the
history.
important stuff. I need both of y'all to give y'all Instagrams because both of these women are beautiful, and I want y'all
Yes.
to go stalk their Instagrams.
Not because we're beautiful.
Not
but
because
thank
they're
you.
beautiful.
All right, then
because
give Twitter.
To engage in
Give
good
it Twitter. Then. Give it Twitter. If you don't want them to get you on Instagram, give
la misma
Twitter.
mierda, it's the same
Instagram
thing.
is. Say it again. Say it again.
La misma mierda.
Oh, I thought you were giving your Instagram.
No,
No, my Instagram. No. Sorry,
Does it
my
have an
Instagram. Marjua _ Miss Estevez.
_ Miss Estevez and
Marco _ Venessa.
Marco _ Venessa. I want to thank y'all for coming and schooling us on this whole Afro
Yes.
Thank
Latino
you for
thing.
having us.
Thank you for engaging with us.
I'm sorry Andrew Schultz pissed y'all off. He does it
No,
to everybody. Don't
I
feel offended.
expected
No, he's
this.
cool, he's cool, he's
I've
cool.
expected this.
It was cool. It was cool. It was cool.
I really thank you guys for coming. I think I love these conversations. I know it gets really heated and I'm really passionate, but
No, I like that. I like that.
I love getting it out there. I want to know about, Afro Latino culture. I want to know about whatever I don't know. But at the same point in time, I think it's really important. I think so many, especially white people, when people have gripes or people maybe have things that could be necessarily a double standard, not saying that what you're saying is a double standard, but they just go, oh, yeah, sure, no, you're absolutely right? And I think that's patronizing to not challenge, right? Like, when a person of color comes
Because
to talk to
especially if you don't understand, please ask the question.
questions.
you got to not only ask
Please.
questions, but also disagree because I'm treating you as somebody that is having an equal conversation with me. So if I feel like there's something I disagree with, I'm not going to go, oh, she's a person of color. I might be offensive if I challenge her what she says. No, I don't give a fuck.
And
You're a
don't
person
shame
of color.
people for asking
what I'm saying?
questions.
This is information exchange. So that's my way of really treating you with respect is disagreeing you.
No,
Okay.
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I dig it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. As always, if you listen to this show and you think we're smart, you think we're intelligent, you think we're brilliant, you're absolutely right. But if you listen to this show and you think that we don't know what the fuck we're talking about and we're just all clueless and we're just a bunch of idiots, you're right too, because it's the Brilliant Idiots Podcast.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
All right, every week you hear us read ads for great companies like Viceland TV and Squarespace. These ads work because we wouldn't tell you to use something we didn't believe in, and then listeners like you actually go and use these products. It's a win for everybody, and it allows us to keep making this show and to keep it free.
Your company can be a winner too just by advertising on our podcast. The company that books our ads is called Midroll. Because of them, we can focus our efforts on making a great show. Check out their website at midroll.com/idiots and then click contact to let them know if you're interested in advertising on Brilliant Idiots. They also represent a bunch of other great shows like The Read and The Comeback Jack Show. That's midroll.com/idiots, MIDROLL.com/idiots.
Word.